Sadowu, you are now a world champion. Great Britain's second gold medal.
Bingham, yes! That could be a lifetime best for Michael Bingham. Kamal of Bahrain is going to take the gold medal like father, like son.
Foster Hilton is the champion. Yes, she is.
Here comes Jenny Meadows. Will she get there? She does! A bronze medal for Jenny Meadows.
Good evening. Yes, big crowds expected on the 6th day of Berlin's World Athletics Championships, and no wonder, because not just one but maybe even 2 world records could come under threat. How dizzying might it become in the women's high jump final with Germany's golden girl Ariane Friedrich in the mix? And how low can Usain Bolt go in the 200 meters final? This guy has a real sense of style, as I'm sure you are aware. He couldn't make it 5 gold medals and 5 world records, could he?
Usain Bolt streaking away from the field. It's going to be gold for Jamaica. That is superb. It's a new world record. He has blown them all away. Blasting round that top bend, Usain Bolt. What's the time? It's gold for Usain Bolt and a new world record. I do not believe it. Absolutely brilliant. Usain Bolt has it in his hand safely and is away round that top bend. Look at this. 3 gold medals. 3 world records. The Bolt is loaded. It's Bolt all the way. He's looking round again. Watch the clock. It's gold for Bolt. The world belongs to Bolt. 9.58. Stunning. Absolutely stunning.
Yes, the sporting world will hold its breath, this time for under 20 seconds, or maybe even just over 19. We'll soon see it 25-8 with the final of that men's 200 metres, because whatever you're doing, make sure you stop and watch the box at that moment, because whenever he's on the bill, the big Jamaican, we just can't seem to get enough of him, can we? Yes, if the 100 metres was supposed to be a duel, no pretense this time. The 200 should be a one-man show. It's Bolt versus the clock. Fellow Jamaican Melaine Walker is favoured to add world to Olympic gold as well tonight in the 400 hurdles. She's a full second faster than anyone going into the final. Cuba's Dayron Robles has told Fidel Castro he'll bring home high hurdles gold. Fidel might have to settle for some duty-free instead, though. The Olympic champion is struggling. A host nation always has its favourite, and in Germany's case, it's Ariane Friedrich. The pressure and the noise levels are going to build ahead of her grosse duel, as they're calling it, in the high jump with Croatia's Blanka Vlasic. And with Jamaica hoovering up the hardware, Alison Felix could be America's last hope of gold in the short sprints. Her 200 metres title defence continues in tonight's semis. After 10,000 metres gold, Bekele has his pen poised again. The athletics history book might be rewritten. The Ethiopian aiming to become the first man to do the long-distance golden double at the World Championships. The 5,000 metres is underway tonight, with Britain's Mo Farah drawn in the same heat as the great man. Mo eyeing a place in the final alongside him too. And this is how it all fits together tonight. The remaining 2 events in the decathlon, top and tail the evening, with the javelin underway soon. Greg Rutherford and Chris Tomlinson trying to qualify for Saturday's long jump final. Will Sharman is our remaining contender in the semis of the high hurdles. Real doubts about the fitness of defending champion Dayron Robles. 5,000 metres heats gets going at 6:05. Then at 10 past, the noise in here will tell you that the women's high jump final is getting underway. Alison Felix and a posse of Jamaicans line up in the 200 semis at 10-7. Then it's finals all the way. Women's one-lap hurdles with Usain Bolt a prohibitive favourite in the men's 200 thereafter. But who will win the 110 metres hurdles is anybody's guess. And it looks like the Roman Empire in decathlon will come to an end after their final event over 1,500 metres. Who's the heir apparent to reigning champion? Roman Chevrolet. That event will be on the red button for you this evening. And Denise, Michael and Colin are looking effortlessly cool as ever on what's been the hottest day of the championships so far. 35 degrees Celsius, what's that about? 95 degrees in old money in Great Britain. But when it comes to heat, there's been a fair bit of that generated by the controversy in the women's 800 metres final last night, and a fair bit of hot air on the subject as well. Because you remember, I'm sure, Caster Semenya of South Africa, amid a swirl of headlines about the fact that she's undergoing gender testing, she produced a quite remarkable performance in the final last night, as indeed did Britain's Jenny Meadows.
I think Jenny Meadows could get a medal.
Jenny Meadows in the pack.
I think you'll find that Jenny Meadows is running a pretty even race.
Jenny Meadows on the shoulder of the Russian, but Semenya is away and gone. Behind her, the scraps on for the medals, and Jenny Meadows is right in amongst it. Here comes Jenny Meadows, will she get there? She does! Well done, Jenny Meadows, fantastic. Brilliant, brilliant run.
It's an absolute dream come true. I can't believe I got the bronze. It was amazing getting the flag, and I could tell each and every one of them was so genuinely thrilled for me. So yeah, dream come true.
We were certainly thrilled for her. All right, beautifully timed finish to that race, and plenty to discuss about the race in total. Denise, what did Jenny prove to everyone last night?
That she can do it. I mean, Jenny set a personal best coming into these championships. She's executed the perfect rounds and then displayed what I can only call as a very mature performance. I mean, she could have been tempted to go with the girls who set a blistering pace after 400 metres, but she didn't. She ran her own race, and the bronze medal was hers.
Indeed, and Colin, when we get down to brass tacks, funding, this means an awful lot for her future, doesn't it?
Oh, it secures her funding for at least another 2 years, which is fantastic to see that. I mean, for me, what was brilliant from Jenny is that she came into this race, and we always ask our British athletes to get to finals, and then if you can get to final, produce your personal best. And she produced the personal best, which produced the medal. Brilliant performance.
It might have been silver. I'm sure there are some people at home who remember Jepkoskai's fall in the opening heat. She was reinstated and, of course, went on to win the silver medal. Where do you stand on that one, Michael?
I disagree with the reinstatements. You know, there are certain instances where a reinstatement is necessary, but in this particular situation, you know, it's a slippery slope, and then it starts to get to a point where, you know, athletes crash. That's just a part of running in the 800 meters and 1500 meters. You're taught and coached from an early age to make sure you don't get yourself boxed in, watch the other runners around you. I know in this situation you got Jepkoskai running again, you know, an inexperienced runner in that particular situation, but, you know, it's just part of it. You have to watch for yourself, because if all of the athletes go down, or 6 or 7 athletes go down in a heat, then now they all have a legitimate case for, hey, reinstate me. And then what do? There are not enough lanes on the track.
Absolutely, yeah. Well, at the moment, silver for Jepkoskai and bronze, of course, for Jenny Meadows. Gold to Caster Semenya. Now, the young woman at the centre, this is only 18 years of age. From what we know, she's from a very, very remote village in South Africa. She lived with her grandma going to school. They lived in a shack with no running water, no electricity. It's her first time out of Africa. How bewildering a situation is this for her? Well, after winning her gold medal, she was whisked through the ranks of media and gave only the briefest of comments.
Your career has boosted. With that comes rumors. I heard one that you born a man. What do you have to say about stuff like that?
I have no idea about that thing, because I haven't heard that thing. Who said it? And I don't know. I don't give a damn about it.
We have a winner, we have a second, we have a third, we have tomorrow a victory ceremony. This being said, everybody speaks about the sex of this lady. Today, for us, this lady is a lady.
So you've done testing?
This being said, we also have heard what the media has reported. We are currently doing an investigation. It will take 2 weeks, 3 weeks to have the results. We will see after results what we do.
When did it first come to your attention that there may have been question marks over her gender?
This lady was totally unknown 2 weeks ago. She appeared the first time under 2 minutes on the 26th of July, 2 weeks ago. And this is when the case started to be known worldwide.
There's been a lot of controversy surrounding the winner tonight, and I wonder what the chat has been like among the other athletes.
Yeah, you know, I can only speak of the British camp. We just had to keep a level head and just do the business, you know. We all might have a personal opinion, but our professional opinion is, you know, you just got to go out there, whoever you're racing against. Not sure what other federations have said, but, you know, I managed to do the job anyway, so from a British point of view, it's worked out well.
Well, Pierre Weiss of the IAAF says that they asked for gender testing to be started 2 weeks ago. Now, that's clearly in dispute from the South African Federation's perspective. But I wonder if in any way that news and the fact that it's not just a knee-jerk reaction yesterday to ask for a gender test changes our perspective of the way the IAAF have handled the whole situation. Michael?
No, not at all, because I think that still, you know, to make this public and to put out a statement then gives us all so much more to talk about, and we're debating it. If it's just something that's been heard, then it's still, you know, it's discussed among people, you know, amongst themselves, but not in the media. So because you have to look at, you know, we don't know how this thing is going to turn out. If it does turn out that there has been no mistake made and everything is legitimate and above board and there is no problem at all, then this young woman's life has just been completely turned upside down, humiliated and embarrassed for no reason. And so I think that we have to, you know, it should have been left quietly and done, and then the results announced after the championship.
Michael, we're going to continue this discussion in a few moments, but to change gear, actually, something to celebrate now is the medal ceremony for the women's 100 metres hurdles. And Paul Dickinson, this was a real crash-bang wallop kind of final last night. A good old-fashioned blanket finish, wasn't it?
Certainly was, Hazel. Delorine Ennis-London, the bronze medalist.
Priscilla Lopes-Schleep.
Priscilla Lopes-Schleep, the Canadian, danced with joy after she crossed the line in second place. It was so close between Ennis-London and Lopes-Schleep. 100th of a second. And the gold medalist was being closed down all the time by the other two. Former Commonwealth champion, silver medalist way back in the World Championships in 2003. But Bridget Foster Hilton is now crowned the World 100-meter hurdles champion. And presenting the medal, one of the all-time greats, particularly of German athletics. You can't see her properly there, but Heike Drexler, still a darling of women's sport in Germany. Jamaica's third gold medal of these championships so far. Jamaican flag certainly becoming a familiar feature of this great Olympic stadium.
So great celebrations there. In about 35 minutes, Caster Semenya will be receiving her 800 metres gold medal. Now, there's two sides to this argument. We've heard the side of the IAAF, the governing body in this sport. But what is the reaction of the South African Federation? We've been hearing from their president.
As a federation, we don't know. And it has been, again, on the television, I'm told, everywhere that we were told, we were asked to conduct this thing. As a federation, no. I'm saying this on a television. We have not done that. We have not been approached. Even here until now, we have not been approached and say, these are the challenges. This is how we deal with those challenges. We have not been approached officially. If they have been approached officially, I want to see that letter that says, Athletics South Africa, oh, this is a challenge. Can we sit and talk? Or this is what you should do. I don't have that kind of information, either to myself or the office. Therefore, I'm saying, maybe this case could have been handled better. I will continue to defend the girl. I'll continue to do anything Even if I had to be kicked out of Berlin, Germany, because I'm doing that, so be it. But I'm not going to allow that girl to be humiliated in the manner that she was humiliated, because she has not committed any crime whatsoever. Her crime was to be born the way she's born, and people were not happy. And on that basis, now she's isolated like she has got a leper, she has got a disease that will actually affect other people. I don't think it's proper.
She's been treated like a leper. So says the president of South African Athletics. Now, it's a very emotive subject, and the whole situation about gender testing, which has been with us since, the 1960s, when it was a very crude physical examination. It was humiliating, it was embarrassing. That stopped in 1991, and very much more complex processes have been put into place. In fact, we actually asked an IAAF doctor to come and talk to us about the whole situation. He directed us to their website, and this is the stuff we've printed off from their website. It is hugely complex. There's no easy answers in all of this. How necessary is the testing, and how complex do you see it?
It's necessary in as much as, you don't want people cheating the system. But in this case, we've got a girl who is being possibly has a hormone imbalance, and it's not unheard of that young girls of her age have just been born with, conflicting hormones. But this society that we live in is so led by visual, what's aesthetically acceptable. Stereotypes completely. And I just think this is so very wrong. And she's been led into this environment. And let's face it, she raced in the World Juniors last year. So we have known about her. It's not like she's just landed at these championships. She has raced before. So if the IAAF were suspicious, they could have dealt with it much sooner.
Well, we also heard from Pierre Weiss about the situation regarding the medal ceremony. He says that if at the end of the investigation into the gender testing it's proven that the athlete is not female, we will withdraw the medal, but today there is no proof, and the benefit of the doubt must always be in favour of the athlete. If she is completely vindicated, Colin, and I think any right-thinking individual hopes that she is, what might she go on to achieve in athletics? She's clearly a wonderful talent.
Well, I hope that she still has the heart and the desire to stay in this sport that seems to have treated her so badly when she's been so successful. That is the first thing that she has to get over, and the desire to go out there and compete and face the world again. But the other big thing for me is that who actually is going to say sorry to her? Because every single newspaper, both at home and every other nation, you see her right on the front covers with these kind of questions asked to her. And when you're 18 years old, that's not the taste you want to have in your mouth when you leave this sport of athletics.
Ironically, Michael, she's 2 seconds off the world record of Jarmila Kratochvilova from the early 1980s. And ironically, Jarmila was the subject of rumour and speculation about her own gender at that time.
Yeah, and I think that, we've heard about, from Denise's standpoint and Colin's standpoint, all based on the assumption, and like you said, that any right-thinking individual, and we all are up here, the thinking is that hopefully everything works out. But there is a possibility that it doesn't. And then where does that stand, and where does that leave the sport? Because this is a very complex issue. It's extremely complex, in this day and time where, she may think she's doing no wrong, and she may not be doing any intentional wrong, and it may not be anyone's fault at all, but it may end up, the result could very well present a very complex result. That, as Nick Davies, the spokesperson for the IAAF, said yesterday, that this is something that at the end, it may take scientists who debate, this issue to come to some conclusion, which still may not be concrete. So, it's a very complex issue, and I don't think it's just so black and white, and just that, hey, it's a girl and she's a poor girl who's come here, and that, she's right and it's not her fault, and she's got her medal. And, there are other athletes. There are 7 other athletes in that final. There was a 4th place person. If Jenny Meadows had been 4th, we may all be looking at this a little bit differently, because we don't know at this point.
Well, Michael, it's a good point. And Steve Cram, you were calling the race last night. This has been a worldwide news event, effectively now, for better or for worse. But I wonder how often this situation arises behind closed doors. How many tests like this are conducted in private, and why has this one become such a cause célèbre?
I think because we're at the World Championships, Hazel, I think you were right. You said it's become a worldwide media story, and I think that's actually precipitated some of the actions by the IAAF, which, as I think we all agree, have not been the best timed. There have been other athletes, particularly in the last 3 or 4 years, who people within athletics have made suggestions about, if you like, and I know that 1 or 2 tests have been done. And
I think the issue is as Michael's pointed out, I think it's a much bigger issue now. I think what poor Caster Semenya has now sort of focused the light on a wider issue is this has become a greater worldwide sport, and we're drawing in people from all over the world in different backgrounds and different races, and let's face it, on the male-female gender line, if you like, we all sit in slightly different places along there. And I think since they stopped the gender testing quite rightly, because it is such a complicated issue, maybe the IAAF and the sport of athletics are going to have to find a way to decide how do we determine who is eligible to compete in a women's event and who's eligible to compete in a men's event. Otherwise, we may continue to have such confusion. I think the sad thing is for Caster Semenya, it's not her fault. That's the point. And I think as this story moves forward, I think it would be unfortunate if they do turn around and disqualify her retrospectively for something which actually they're probably going to have to look at. How do they determine? It might be on a hormonal level. I don't know how they're going to do it in the future, but we have to decide who is eligible to compete in women's events and who's eligible to compete in men's events.
Thanks very much. I don't think this is the end of the affair. But we're going to concentrate on events from this morning in the men's 800 metres heat. If I say Kaki, you probably think it's a Brazilian footballer, but this is Abubakar Kaki of Sudan. He's just a teenager. He's a real hot property in athletics. He came through his heat as one of the favourites for the semi-finals. But what of Merseyside's Michael Rimmer? He was in heat 6, and this is how he fared.
So here we go. Just inside Rimmer is Wagner of Senegal, 147.39, and outside Rimmer, the long striding David Rudisha. When he burst on the scene, he looked absolutely tremendous. Trains with Bernard Lagat when they're in Europe, so he's got a good pedigree, head and shoulders literally above everybody at the moment. And Michael Rimmer just in a tidy position there, running out in lane 2.
Well, there are 4 athletes in this race who've run faster than Michael Rimmer has ever run before. 25 seconds for the opening 200 metres, and then suddenly the whole field slowed down. There is some talent here. There's a tactical awareness requirement from Michael Rimmer. Sometimes he's shown terrific tactical awareness. I think he's a very talented athlete. He trains hard. He's got the talent. What he needs to do is show the application in a race like this. 55 seconds for the opening 400 metres. And they're making it hard to be one of the fastest qualifiers, which is a bit of a surprise because all 6 of these running sub 146 could have actually qualified as of fastest losers. Now Michael Rimmer takes it on, challenged immediately by Rudisha. He's on the outside. He's put himself on the outside, and the long striding Lopez from Cuba is coming into contention, as well as Milkovic of Latvia. So Michael's in a difficult place there. Can he get out of it?
Well, after an injection of pace there by Michael Rimmer and Rudisha, he's found himself boxed in because of Milkovic. And Lopez outside him, he's got to get out of there. He's trying to find a way through on the inside. But those 2 guys are coming away, Rudisha and Lopez of Cuba. Michael Rimmer does find some space on the inside. It's going to be very tight, but he does get 3rd place. Oh, my goodness, he made life very difficult for himself. 147.83, the winning time for David Rudisha. Oh. My heart is pounding.
I think Mike's heart was pounding as well. Michael, you saw that one this morning. That was close.
I'm sorry.
That was a close one for Mike Rimmers.
Oh, absolutely. I didn't hear you. I'm sorry. Mike Rimmer he's going to have to get a little bit tougher, I think. I mean, he's got the tools. He's shown the ability with the 144, but he's going to have to be a little bit tougher, be a little bit smarter about the strategy that he runs in his races, because that was very, very tight in the end. He's not a great sprinter at the end like some of the others, and he saved it to the end and almost got blocked in.
Okay, semi-finals of that one is tomorrow, with the final on Sunday. But there is some news on another British star, Paula Radcliffe. She's been in Berlin since Monday after competing in the New York half marathon. That was by way of preparation for this Sunday's coming marathon. But unfortunately, Paula has decided that she's not fit enough. The reaction to that half marathon has not been positive, and she's decided to pull out. We'll be hearing from Paula a little bit later on as to her reasons why she will not now be competing in Berlin. So that's very disappointing for Paula, and indeed for us. Now, qualifying just about to get underway in the men's long jump. We've got 2 competitors in that one, Greg Rutherford and the British record holder, Chris Tomlinson. Wonder if he fancies his chances of getting through to a first World Championship final.
This season's been pretty decent so far by my own standards. I've had sort of 8 competitions over 8 metres, which is sort of a very sort of consistent world-class jumping, and I really I'm hoping on doing well out here in Berlin.
Do you feel that your confidence levels have gone to a different height because of that consistency?
I think I'm just enjoying my athletics. If I jump well, great, I'm happy. If I don't jump well, okay, you know, I'll try harder next time, and it's just putting everything into perspective.
Do you think that comes with just maturity, or is it change of? I mean, you've been married in the last couple of years,
Yeah.
maybe something like
I've been
that.
married, so I've got a few more headaches certainly. But I think it does come with maturity certainly, and you sort of you think, well, you know, if I'm enjoying the sport, then I'll keep on doing it, and you know, fortunately I am, and it's great. We go in front of big crowds and we do something we love, and once I stop loving it, then I'll stop. But main thing is for me is to go out there and have a good time and give it my best, and if I can do that and qualify for the final, and then hopefully take it from there.
And do you treat qualification differently than you would a one-off event somewhere else on a Grand Prix circuit or a final? Is it something kind of you've got to get your head around? It's a different set of circumstances.
Yeah, definitely. I made a big mistake 2 years ago in Osaka when I came in as one of the favourites for a medal, and so I was a bit lackadaisical, I guess. You know, switched off a little bit in qualifying and found myself, you know, having an early bath and watching the final from the stands, and it was the first time that I'd ever really messed up a qualifying, and I said that, you know, if I was ever to go and out there again and do another qualifying of that level, I'll always give it 100%, and as long as I can do that and walk away, and you know, I know I'll have done my best.
So maybe third time lucky for Chris. Let's hope so, fingers crossed. He and Greg Rutherford will be jumping shortly. They need 8 metres 15, incidentally, to automatically qualify for Saturday's final. The British record, which Chris holds, 8 metres 29, incidentally. So we'll be following their progress. But the first track event of the evening, it's the sprint hurdles semis for the men. Will Sharman of Great Britain up in the third. But let's get to the first of them now with Steve Brown.
Thank you, Hazel. Packed stadium tonight. There's the lineup for our first race. Oliar of Latvia, Capetillo of Cuba, Svoboda of Czech Republic, GY of China, Villar of Colombia, Trammell, United States, Noga of Poland, and Quinones of Spain. Capetillo from Cuba. Well, they've got some very good young hurdlers coming through and developing, of course, behind their big favourite, Deron Robles, the world record holder, who there are some question marks about. More of that in a little while. Svoboda, European indoor champion. European indoor bronze medalist this year. So expect him to be quick out of the blocks. But I must say, the overall standard of this event, I think, has been as on the low end, if you like, of expectations. I was going to say as low as I can remember, but my memory's not that good these days anyway. GY of China, Asian indoor champion, another man who would expect to start quickly. And again, of course, No Liu Zhang. But Shi Dongpeng will be going in one of the other semi-finals. Villar of Colombia in 5. These guys coming into the semi-final running about 13.5 seconds, which when you think of how well Andy Turner was going, particularly in the early part of the season, he must be really disappointed with what happened to him. Injury, of course, curtailed his championships in the first round. Well, Terence Trammell, big opportunity for him. He's won silver medals at 2 Olympic Games. He's won silver medals at 2 World Championships as well. And with the favourite, Robles, certainly yesterday, not looking very good at all. This is a huge opportunity for Trammell, who was only second, though, in the American Championships. An event, of course, which they've had so much success in. Artur Noga, 21 years of age, still still improving. Under 23 champion in Europe. And then on the outside, Jackson Quinones of Spain. Well, the Americans, we had Alan Johnson in the studio yesterday, and we've got David Payne coming up as well. The couple we haven't seen, that's Oliars of Latvia on the inside. European champion still until
on your mark
next year. I was talking about the Americans, and well, question marks about the overall form of their hurdlers as well. So Trammell will have to be getting back to something like his best here. First two will go through, and then 2 fastest losers to the final later tonight.
Set.
False start right on the inside from Olijar. That was fairly obvious. Well, I've seen the stadium's pretty full tonight. Of course, that Usain Bolt 200-meter final later on. Meanwhile, in the long jump,
Greg Rutherford, first attempt. As Hazel said, 8 metres and 15 is the target. Probably 12 athletes won't do that, and then they will look for 12 in the final. It's going to have to find a bit, Greg is. 8.06 this year, but I think, as you all know, has struggled with injury. Good speed, hits the board well. Oh! He'll have to find a bit. Paul, I think he has.
What a cracking start for Greg Rutherford. Almost a look of surprise on his face there. Always important to try and get one in the first round, but who'd have dreamt that? 8.26 is lifetime best. 8 meters 30, he's broken the British record. And we're just in the qualifying competition. Wow.
Well, what a start to the evening. Fantastic from Greg Rutherford. Right over on the far side from where we're sitting. And wonderful start. 8.30. Okay, 110 hurdles, semi-final. Will Sharman coming up in the third of these. First 2 and 2 fastest losers through to the final. This is Terence Trammell in lane 6. Got a cupboard full of silver medals. Jackson Quinones of Spain. He'll be a danger as well, but it's a very, very open race away from Trammell. Any of these men could get in the top 2.
Set.
They get away this time. Trammell does indeed get the best start and is already going well with Villar alongside him. Quinones trying to get back into it on the near side. Svoboda going well, but Trammell's going to win this, and then there's a real scrap on for the second place. Trammell's going to take it. Svoboda takes the second, excuse me. 13.24 with a decent following win. And how much does that mean to Svoboda? I said probably all 7 men apart from Trammell. Trammell would have expected to win. I bet you all 7 thought I could come second here, but it was Svoboda who took it.
Terence Trammell looking quite relaxed about that. Wouldn't call it routine exactly. It is a semi-final of a major championship after all, but this guy absolutely flew through the line. Must be close to his lifetime best performance. As Steve said, Trammell staying low, gets over the first hurdle comfortably along with Villar. Now 3 from the right-hand side there. Svoboda of the Czech Republic, Colin, looking very, very good.
It's nice to see some of the European athletes here being able to contend in this type of race into the World Championships. Of course, Terence is the man that we're looking forward to perhaps just getting a gold medal instead of a silver. Let's have a look at him here. Gets out the blocks very well. I've raced him on numerous occasions, and he was a very quick starter. He's a very good, accomplished sprinter as well. But he fell off that hurdle slightly, so he had to just slightly readjust going into the second hurdle. But once he gets into his running, he's one of these hurdlers like Alan Johnson. They can afford to clip these barriers. Actually, they can afford to hit them, like he demonstrated there, and it seems not to knock off his stride in any way. He knows this is a big opportunity for him here in Berlin. He's coming into good, decent form, and he's seen Robles struggling with his. So this is the time he might be thinking to himself, I could nick all those silvers and take him into a gold.
I'm still buzzing from that long jump from Greg Rutherford. Let me just remind you, 8 metres and 30, a new British record, taking over from Chris Tomlinson. He'll be in the final. I imagine this man will be too. His first attempt, Dwight Phillips, the world leader this year. 8.15's the target. Simple as that. And for a man who has jumped 8 metres and 74 this year, that's right, 8 metres and 74, which is 5th on the all-time list. I could say 8.15 is pretty routine. That said, never take anything for granted in qualification, but beautiful running, just a little accommodation for the board, and then that hitch kick. And this will be, I think, longer than Rutherford. But it really matters. What matters really is what happens in the final on Sunday. even Saturday. Getting my finals mixed up, I tell you. God. 8 metres 44. Phillips is in the final 2.
Well, this is the situation in the decathlon. Still quite some way to go. 3 events, in fact. But after the discus, Trey Hardy increasing his lead over Kasanyov of the Ukraine and Pogorelov of Russia in 3rd place. Roman Chevrolet actually moved up a couple of places during the discus event, so he's still hanging in there, and he is the defending champion. Well, Roman Chevrolet's already been eliminated. Suarez of Cuba, those been going well. Oh, unfortunately, the Cuban is out. And Suarez there attempting 5 meters 10. 2 failures at 5 meters. Got it on the 3rd attempt. That was a really good effort. And that has brought the Cuban 910 points. So he could challenge. He was outside the top 6. But look at that, he's moved into 6th place overall. Trey Hardy, 5 meters 20. He's beginning to dominate this competition. Yes! He absolutely flew over 5 meters a little while ago. That wasn't quite the height he got at 5 meters and 5 meters 10, but 5:20. He's over. That is a big, big score, and he's beginning to pull away from everybody. Only the javelin and the 1,500 meters to come. But Trey Hardy on the verge of winning a world championship. $972 points. Could still go even higher on that sort of form.
Prince Trammell 13.24 with that following win there. It's certainly a bit better than we've seen so far, and a season's best for Svoboda. That gets him into the final. The rest, we'll have to wait to see what happens in the other 2 races.
Here's the lineup for Heat 2. Lincher of Belarus, Bascu of France, Shi Dongpeng of China, Braithwaite of Barbados, Thomas of Jamaica, John of Germany, Payne of the United States, and Sedok of the Netherlands. Well, Ryan Braithwaite all of a sudden is emerging as a potential medalist. He's got to negotiate the semi-final, of course, but ran very well in his heat, 13.35. Semi-finalist in the Olympic Games last year. So Ryan Braithwaite. Next to him in lane 5 is Dwight Thomas, and inside is Shi Dongpeng of China, teammate, of course, of Lu Zhang. But there's Dwight Thomas, former 100-meter runner who's actually converted to the high hurdles very, very well indeed. 13.30, his best, and he's run that this season. Returned to hurdling from sprinting because he said the 100 has got very tough indeed. Well, David Payne there of the United States, Olympic silver medalist, behind Robles, the great Cuban, and a World Championship bronze medal in Osaka. It's actually the fastest man in the field on paper at 13.12. Only 2 to qualify for the final later on this evening, and of course the 2 fastest losers. That's Braithwaite in lane 4. That was Alexander John of Germany.
Well, spare a thought for Chris Tomlinson. 15 minutes ago, this long jump competition started. He was the British record holder. He hasn't even taken his first jump, and he's only number 2 on the all-time list. I'm sure, though, his professionalism will mean that that is at the back of his mind. He's just got one job to do today. That's to make it through to the final. 8 meters and 15. Been over that a number of times this season. Well, I think it's probably around 8 meters. It's certainly not automatic qualification. He's having a close look at it. He's got the benefit, obviously, of our graphic. but it isn't going to automatically go through to the final. But it is a decent start. We've seen Chris come out in qualification before, well below 8 metres, and his season's form was suggested he'd go much, much further. And it's measured at 8 metres and 6 centimetres. Come through on the computer, the graphic a little bit behind. And that's confirmation of that. So he'll have to take another jump at least, 4th best so far.
There's a bit of movements on the blocks at the second attempt there by Dwight Thomas, so I think that is a green card that's being held up. So, but we have had one false start by Alexander John. Just run through the lineup once more. Lincher of Belarus, Bascu of France, Shi Dongpeng of China, Braithwaite of Barbados, Thomas of Jamaica, John of Germany, Payne of the USA, and Sedok of the Netherlands. The 3 fastest men in the semi-final are in lanes 4, which is Braithwaite, 5 Thomas, and 7 David Payne of the USA, Olympic silver medalist.
Set.
Get away this time. Braithwaite and Thomas away quite well, but so is David Payne out in lane 7. And Braithwaite is absolutely streaking through here. Braithwaite is in the lead. Braithwaite and David Payne qualified comfortably, 13.20, slightly faster than the first semi-final. Well, Braithwaite will have broken his lifetime best with that performance, and he's gaining in confidence all the time. A slight following wind. Really a lot of daylight between himself and the rest there, and that was a real confidence booster for the Barbadian.
Well, these are tough semi-finals. You'd expect them to be, and the main casualty here will be Dwight Thomas, because he gets a pretty poor start through the first 2-3 flights of hurdles, and he's almost last at this point. Braithwaite of Barbados and David Payne in lane 7, they're going away, and now Dwight Thomas tries to get on terms with them, but he's going to finish a pretty distant 3rd here. But right at the front, a new personal best, and it'll be a record, a Barbadian record for Ryan Braithwaite. And Payne, much better than we've seen from Payne just recently. But Colin, this young man's a real talent.
Yeah, he's looking nice, good and strong. He came into this championships with a couple of good runs under his belt, but he'd be very delighted to have run 13.18. He's not one of these silky, smooth hurdlers. You can see his arms are a little bit scrappy, a little bit wild, but he's getting the job done. The only thing I'm really worried about, if he clatters one of these barriers, I'm watching his technique carefully, if he clatters one of these barriers, I think it could cost him a lot. I think he'll go off balance quite easily, and in this kind of lineup, in the final, when things could be tight, a clean technique is vital.
Well, his time's been rounded down by a couple of hundredths, so it's even better, 13.18 for the Barbadian Ryan Braithwaite. David Payne qualifying 13.24, and for the time being, Dwight Thomas 13.37 is the fastest loser, but there's still one semi-final to come.
A little bit earlier on, we saw that wonderful British record in qualification from Greg Rutherford. He's made his way round, and he's speaking to Phil.
Thanks, Jonathan. Oh, and a delighted Greg Rutherford at that. What a way to start.
I know. I don't know what to say, really. I mean, I half expected to jump well. I knew things were going really well for me at the moment. But 8:30 first round, I wasn't expecting that, to be honest.
And a British record to boot.
Yeah, I know. That's something I've been aiming for, I mean, well, ever since 2005, really. I knew there was going to be bigger jumps coming through. When I jumped in 26, I've had a couple of stagnant years, and I think things are now coming back to where I was there, which is where I need to be.
So tell me about the build-up and getting to this point where you're able to pull a record like that out of the bag.
Again, as I say, I mean, this wasn't like a massive surprise in a way. The jumps I've been having earlier on in the season, I've been taking off massively behind the board and still getting into the late sevens. So I knew if I could nail it onto the board, something good would happen. And I think that's kind of what happened today. I haven't even seen the jump yet. I mean, I was a bit excited when I saw the distance come up. So again, I knew that was there, and I just now need to kind of keep my game head on and get ready for the final. I mean, like this time last year, got myself into the final of the Olympics first round, took it for granted, and I think emotionally let things get to me this year. I know how to do it, and hopefully do it again.
It's exciting times. Have a great one in the final. All the best. Well done.
Thank you. Appreciate it. Cheers, Phil.
Well, a special jump deserves a bit of special analysis, and this is our slow motion. And the thing I like here is the way he extends through the board, which gives him time to drive off. That last phase is too short, you can't exert force through the ball because you have to take off once your centre of gravity has gone to a certain place, and that was pretty much perfect.
Very good indeed. Now, semi-final number 3. Great Britain's Will Sharman is in this. He's right out in lane 8. This is the lineup. Sands of Bahamas, Borisov of Russia, Kish of Hungary, Wignall of Jamaica, Darien of France, Schwarzer of Germany, Robles, the world record holder from Cuba, and then Sharman from Belgrave Harriers and Great Britain on the outside. We'll come back to Sands in a minute, hopefully, but this is Borisov. Won a bronze medal indoors. Well, he actually shared it with Stanislav Oliar. But he's having a pretty good season outdoors as well. Now, this young man, the Hungarian commentary team are next to us. I know that I think they're slightly surprised at how well he's running, apparently. I think he's a bit clumsy. We shall see. 13:34, his new personal best. Actually, it was a Hungarian record which he broke. I was going to say personal best in the qualification. Hungarian record. So, Maurice Wignall, well, a bit more experience there, 33 years of age now, Commonwealth Games champion in 2006. Obviously in the final last year in Beijing, out of the medals though. Jamaican support huge in the stadium for Usain Bolt tonight. As expected, what chance to medal in the 110 hurdles. Next to him, Garfield Darien from France. Another young hurdler, of course, Ladji de Courret won the gold medal for France. What's that, 2 championships ago? Helga Schwarzer of Germany will get a huge cheer. I think this is undoubtedly the most people we've had in the stadium. It's a sellout on Saturday. And I don't know, there was a few empty seats, but not too many. Darren Robles, well, we were all watching him yesterday and wondering what was going on. He looked as though he didn't start very well at all. Weren't sure whether he was injured. He said he's felt a pain in his right thigh. I wasn't sure what it was all about. Now, I've been watching him in warm-up. He's got no strapping on tonight, and he looks sharp. He's been going through his exercises. That's what Will wants to do. He just wants to fly here, and you can see with that personal best 13:44, he might have to break that to get into this final. Into the final, because fastest qualifier spots, if he's not in the top 2, are inside that personal best time of his. This is the one athlete we haven't seen, Shamar Sands from Bahamas. So Will Sharman in the biggest race of his career so far. Let's just confirm the situation. 13.37, 13.41, the 2 fastest losers at the moment. Sharman's best, lifetime best, 13:44. So if he's not in the top 2 here, he'll have to break that personal best to make it through. And will Robles be better than he was? He came here as the favourite.
Set.
The getaway first time. Sharman out of the blocks pretty well, right alongside Robles. Even with him, Robles is hitting hurdles, has gone. There he's gone. And Will Sharman's going really well. He may be in the lead here. Will Sharman running the race of his life. He has to get in the top 2. He is going to be there. He wins it, arm in the air. That was a confident run and a new personal best, as I said. Not to qualify as the fastest loser, to qualify as the winner of his semi-final. But there's the story with respect to Will Sharman. As far as the event is concerned, the favourite, the world record holder, we thought there was a problem. He's come out without a strapping today, though not the one that we can visibly see. But he obviously wasn't right yesterday, and there's the evidence of that. He hit the first 2-3 hurdles and then stopped. Not fit. And, well, what an opportunity for Will Sharman. He's in to the World Championship final, and once you're in finals, anything can happen.
Well, desperation for Robles. He hit the first 3 hurdles, then he pulled up. Well, let's just concentrate on William Sharman. Absolutely superb. And so confident as well, way out in lane 8. And he knew after he landed off the final barrier, he'd got it. It was head down, then sprint for the line. Even had time to look up towards us and go, yep, I've got it. 13:40.0. and that is the 6th fastest time ever by a British athlete. Well, I saw his sister and mum in the stadium yesterday, Colin. You can't imagine what they must be feeling like now.
Oh, they must be very excited. He really did a really tremendous job here. The vital thing for Williams is that he runs really clean over the barriers. If he manages to do that, we can never doubt what he can actually do. And look what he's done there. A new personal best, 13.38. Lane 8, I think, was a little bit an advantage to him. He's next to Robles, and he knows Robles is not running that strongly. Look at Dayron there. He clobbers that first hurdle, then he clobbers that second hurdle, and then that stage he knows, ouch, it's all over. But that just left William to do his own thing. He could just concentrate now on being smooth and very silky over these barriers, and he managed to do that really well indeed. He only needs to think about clearing every single hurdle now, because he's in a rhythm, he's in a groove, and once you're in that groove, it's quite difficult to get yourself out of it. And it's great to see him come to a championships and hit this type of form. 13.38, a new personal best, and into that final. Well done, William.
Will Sharman, wonderful performance, and you know he nearly wasn't selected. He had to go to the appeals panel to get selected. He's with Phil now.
Oh, well, congratulations, what a run. Tell me about it.
Well, I'm glad to be talking to you again today. I'm really sorry for Robles, because he's a friend of mine. He's my idol. My two sporting idols are Rafael Nadal. Why? Because he just doesn't understand the word give up. And but things happen in sport. Before the championships, he would have been the favourite. I'm glad I ran a PB. I told you there was more to come. Told you. But the reason behind it is I have a fantastic support base back in England. John Anderson, for instance, you know, life mentor. He gives so much to the sport and me. And he's influenced a big part why I'm at these championships. Secondly, Jeffrey Poynton, Terry Forsey, these guys are always behind me. But I'm glad that I was out here and ran a good race today.
Listen, can you stay with us for a second? Jenny Meadows is just about to get a medal, but we want to hear more from you.
I want to see Jenny Meadows get her medal. Come on, let's do it.
Let's do it.
He's an entertaining young man. And talking about entertainment, I don't know how much you all enjoyed Jenny Meadows winning the bronze medal, but I know up here in the commentary box, certainly myself and Brendan and the rest of us were absolutely delighted for her, and almost everything she stands for. I mean, she's a great athlete, and it's been a long journey to get up onto that rostrum, but such a proud moment for Jenny Meadows. The defending champion, Janet Jepkosgei, hasn't been absolutely at her best this year, but I thought she fought really, really hard in the final. Only just held off Jenny Meadows for that silver medal. Well, I hope this young lady gets a huge cheer here. Well, the crowd are standing and applauding around that far side of the stadium, and Caster Semenya of South Africa won the gold medal in emphatic style, and I guess her story is one which will continue beyond these championships.
National anthem of South Africa. Bitte erheben Sie sich für die Nationalhymne von Südafrika.
Very proud moment for Wigan, for Great Britain, and for Jenny Meadows. Well done, bronze medal. Now back to Will Sharman, part 2.
Well, thanks, Steve. Seeing Jenny get a medal there. Now you've got the final ahead of you, and we saw you celebrating crossing the line. You set a personal best. There's more to come from you, it seems.
I believe so. The thing is, my mum always says I'm lazy when it comes to things I know I can do well. She said I don't try, and she's right. And before I got to the warm-up area today, I felt horrible. My lead leg hamstring was all achy. I only did one race yesterday. It felt like I'd done about 4. I was lethargic. I think I ate too late as well this afternoon. But once I was on the line and I heard them roar for the German, I was like, no, come on, roar for me. And next to Robles, I just gave it everything. In the warm-up, I did a start, and I thought, right, okay, that's the one. Just do that when the gun goes. Woo! Yeah, I'm happy to have done that, and I'm even more happier to be in the final representing Great Britain, just like Colin Jackson used to do. You know, he was the world's best. Tony Jarrett, Huey Teape, John Ridgeon, all of those guys have made it Olympic and world finals, and there's no reason why I shouldn't be flying the flag in 2009, just like they did back in the day. Those guys motivated me, so thanks.
You're certainly doing that. Listen, all the very best for the final. We wish you well. Just about 2 hours' time, so go and get ready. All the best.
Thank you. Cheers.
That makes brilliant reading, doesn't it? 13.38, a new personal best for Will Sharman. Well done indeed. I said that he only got here because he ran a fast time on the day they were selecting the team. He got 24 hours to appeal your non-selection, and he made it in the nick of time. 13.43 for Wignall in the second place. So these are the men who are lined up for the final, headed up by Ryan Braithwaite with a new national record. He, like Will Sharman, running a personal best to get into the final. No Dayron Robles. Has the path been cleared for Terence Trammell finally to take a gold? We shall see.
Kenenisa Bakila completed the long-distance double at last year's Olympics. He's halfway there again, this time with the 5,000 metres to come. Britain's Mo Farah lines up in the same heats as the great man. And speaking of great things, it's been a great half hour for Great Britain with those, first of all, the medal for Jenny Meadows, and of course the British record from Greg Rutherford, and the world according to Will Sharman, obviously in the hurdles as well. First of all, Colin, your reaction to what was a blistering run, 6th fastest he is. Let's get it into context for this final. But what did you make of the way he got out from the last of the lanes?
I think what was vital for him was that he's got a really good, clean first hurdle. The first hurdle sets you up for the whole race indeed. And he did a great job. He was so smooth over that first barrier. His trail leg comes through beautifully well, puts him in line so he can drive off it into the next barrier, and that just keeps the momentum going forward. So as far as I'm concerned, he's done a really good job. In the final, it'll be slightly different for him though, because he actually won this semi-final. It means he's going to be one of the centred lanes, one of the preferred lanes, and that means he's going to have the fast guys all around him, and that might have a little effect on his performance in the final.
He's a former decathlete as Will Sharman. I wonder what kind of potential he has, not just for this final, but going forward. But first of all, let's get a quick reaction about Robles, as we can see there. It's not unexpected that he's gone out, Michael, but it's still pretty shocking to see a champion of his stature hobbling away.
Absolutely, and he had been saying from the very beginning that he was having some problems with the hamstring, and it's just unfortunate because it started to look like going through the rounds that he may actually be able to make it, and he's so much better than the rest of this field that even an injured, not 100% Dayron Robles, could possibly still win a gold medal.
Well, that's coming up a bit later on, but let's quickly talk about Greg Rutherford, because you and I sort of leapt about 4 feet in the air actually when he actually broke the Great British record there by 1 centimetre, but that's enough. And how much potential has he shown over the last 2 years, because he's had a terrible time with injuries today?
He has had a terrible time with injuries, and I really like Greg. He's one of these athletes that really puts himself out, and he's been promising to jump well for a long time, but as you said, the injuries have hampered his preparations, and it's really difficult for an athlete when they're always starting and stopping. But he got a great run up, he drove right into the board, took off, and look at his face. It's like, I knew I could do this, and it's fantastic. Beautiful takeoff,
European silver medal at 2006 when we were there in Gothenburg, so he's always had the potential to do something like this. But I think, Michael, everybody wants to be in this final on Saturday, and there's a very good reason for that, because 1936, Lutz Long, Jesse Owens, all of the history about what turned out to be a remarkable friendship at a time of Nazi ruling the world, obviously, for a short time. How special is Saturday going to be with Jesse Owens' granddaughter and Lutz Long's son handing out the medals then?
It's going to be incredibly special. I mean, every athlete, hopefully, knows the history of Jesse Owens and what a great athlete he was, but how he performed in this stadium under incredible pressure that no athlete will ever probably face, again, and to deliver, and then the sportsmanship with Lutz Long and Jesse Owens, and now the family's being here so many years later. It will be a very special moment.
Well, indeed. Well, it's time to pump up the volume a bit now, because it's time for the women's high jump final. This crowd is going to go ballistic very shortly. Now, Blanka Vlasic of Croatia is the defending champion. She actually bumped her head and cut her head on a door frame just before qualifying the other day. Still, when you're tall, leggy and beautiful, them's the breaks sometimes, isn't it? And Ariane Friedrich of Germany is more than capable of giving her another headache today.
There's something missing. I'm still waiting for that perfect competition. Every time I start to jump, I feel so great. I just feel that I'm better than ever.
The reigning world champion, the pride of Croatia, in all her elongated elegance, and named after the city of Casablanca. It's play it again time for Blanka Vlasic. She expects success, she always has.
When did you realise that you were going to be potentially one of the best in the world?
I kind of believe in that from the beginning. Not because I was sure it will happen, just because when I commit to something, then I want to go all the way through. So from the beginning, my goal was to try to beat one of the best. And the inspiration is always for me to be number one.
Entering last year's Olympics, Vlasic was unbeaten in 33 consecutive competitions. And though she cleared a wonderful 2 meters 5, she lost on countback to Belgian Tia Hellebutt. A surprising end to a pressurized build-up.
The jumping wasn't a problem, just 10 days being there, and in that surrounding, it's very hard, and it doesn't go easier with the years. And I think under these circumstances, I performed very well. I think it was a good fight, a good competition, so I jumped on my level and even more. So I think I cannot blame myself.
Ariane Friedrich, 2 meters and 1 centimeter. That puts her in first place.
German superstar Ariane Friedrich now ensures Vlasic isn't undisputed number one. The shaded one beat Blanka in the European indoors and twice denied her a Golden League jackpot. But Vlasic says battling her own ambitions, not Friedrich, is a bigger career task.
Even though, I was a world champion, every year for me is different. And my eternal motivation is just to try to see how high I can go. Where is my limit? Is there any limit? There are some ultimate goals that I want to achieve. Try to jump a world record, and it will always keep me going. But even then, I would be probably curious, is that the end?
Is it the end? Yes, we'll soon find out. Denise, what value home advantage for the German this evening?
Oh, well, she's got everything. We've got a packed-out house tonight. And if you think what it did for the men's discus last night, they roared that discus on to victory. I believe that Friedrich has really got a great chance and even could challenge the world record tonight.
Yes, it's stood for a very, very long time. 1987, something like that. Do you believe that they'll get close, Michael?
I think they possibly could, because I think that, this, as Denise said, this stadium is just electric. They've had some great success, the Germans, so far, and in the field events mostly. And so I know there'll be a lot of anticipation, and so it should be a great competition. I think they'll push one another, so we could certainly see a record.
Well, if you can't hear us at various points throughout the evening, we probably can't hear ourselves because of the noise that's going to definitely generate over the next couple of hours or so. But right now it's time to get back onto the track. It's the start of the 5,000 metres heats in the men's events, and Mo Farah, one of the most likeable and dedicated members of the British team, he's going in the first heat. He's been speaking to Phil Jones about it.
I'm really happy, this year things have gone really well, but last year was a really bad year for me because things didn't go as well as I wanted, and there was a number of changes, but at the same time, this year is a good thing. I'm positive, I'm a lot more happier, I'm more confident, and also, my coach has been there whenever we've been away in training camp and holding me back of anything, because as an athlete you always want to go that little bit more harder, but you might not need that. And that's what I've learned, and I'm enjoying myself, and I am really looking forward to my race. Obviously for me, I run in Osaka where I finished 6th, but Osaka's different, it's gone. And this year it's a new year, it's a new people, so you can't think I finished 6th, I'm going to do so well again. It doesn't happen like that. You've got to go out there in the heat and give it what you have, and take it out as a final. And once you get through, anything can happen. But the hardest thing is getting through it and make sure you're there, cover every move, and just be there.
I think a lot of what's gone before with you in the past is maybe not believing in yourself as much as other people believe in you.
Yeah, of course.
And that's maybe changed a little bit this year.
Yeah, it has changed a lot. Obviously, before I wasn't maybe sort of so confident with my speed, but I've run 3:33, high 3:33. So, and to have that is a good thing, because obviously if you come down to the end of the race, you have that. So it's a big belief. So at the same time, I've gone in the past and think, oh, this guy's so fast than me. So I think my aim is to go out there in the heat and take it as a final and just, be there.
Mo Farah, he said he's going to treat it as a final. Well, I think he's got more ability than that to worry, to have to run absolutely flat out here. It is a tough semi-final. First 5 will go through. Pick out 1 or 2 names for you. Collis Birmingham, Australia there. Tegan Camper, you saw in that film, was ahead of Mo back in 2007. Non-runner there is Fabiana Joseph. He didn't run well in the 10,000. Kenenisa Bikila, the most famous name, of course, the world's greatest distance runner. We saw him already win 1 gold medal, his 4th title at 10,000 metres. Jesus España, familiar to Mo Farah, the man who beat him to the European title back in 2006. Just 2 or 3 names to watch out for. Collis Birmingham, I mentioned, the Australian champion, has run a new Oceania record at 10,000 this year. Abdosh, the Ethiopian, there's a familiar figure. Saif Said Shaheen from Qatar, who at his best would have contended. He's not really at his best at the moment though, but should never write him off. Tough competitor. Former steeplechaser. And you can see the reason they're concentrating on him, that personal best 12:48, but that was 6 years ago. Matt Tegenkamp almost took the bronze medal in Osaka, because Kenenisa Bikila wasn't there. And the other night he just looked pretty much back to his best. That was a really hard 10,000 metres, and any lesser athlete, it would have taken an awful lot out of them. We've already had a couple of withdrawals in this 5,000 metre event because of men who were in that race. Tedeschi tried his best, tried his hardest, couldn't break the great man. So it's top 5 and then the 5 fastest losers from these 2 races coming up. Well, this is the second line. España, mentioned him, European champion. Outkicked Mo Farah when we thought that Mo might take the title. Selmoon, he could be a bit of a danger as well. Other Americans, Selinsky, Meucci, and on the outside, Abuya of Kenya, again, at his best, would be very, very good indeed. But he was second in the Kenyan trials, so to make the Kenyan team or the Ethiopian team, you've got to be in pretty good shape. Well, Mo has had a great preparation leading into these championships. New personal best at 1,500 metres. Pretty good time over 5,000 as well. He's been training in front row for big chunks of the summer.
Step back from the line, please.
Better preparation than last year. That's where it went wrong for him really last year. He was alluding to that in his interview there, said got a few things wrong, and it was really those last 3 or 4 weeks leading into Beijing. So, Mo Farah attempting to make it into the World Championship final. We've got 17 athletes lining up here, and as I said, first 5. Thankfully, Brendan, they put the cones out for the 2 different start lines, which of course they didn't do in Kenenisa Bekila's. Actually, no, it was the women's 10,000 they got it wrong, wasn't it? In the very first night, they got it right by the time Kenenisa came out to run, and he's immediately moved towards the front, and Mo Farah's just settled towards the back.
Well, Kenenisa Bekele there, setting off as he does in all his races with some intent. Works his way to the front, usually stays close enough, doesn't ever let them out of his sight, doesn't let them get too far ahead, even though sometimes in an event like this, the heats, sometimes there's a temptation to do that, but he's such a confident man, he's such a strong man, and the faller there already at this early stage. I'm looking down the field and see, oh, it's the other Ethiopian athlete, Abdosh. Well, he's taking ages to put his shoe back on. That's disappointing for him. But there, if you look down towards the middle of the field, there's the Abdosh, the Ethiopian. The American Tekenkamp stumbles a little, and then down goes Abdosh. Off comes his shoe. Then he's got a problem. He really has. He's trying to get it going, trying to get it on again. He's now running about. He's about 120 meters behind the leading group. He would have been one of the athletes you would fear. Shaheen, the other athlete who had a little bit of a problem there, but Abdosh now sets off with some intent. It's going to be difficult for him to close up there, and that's an athlete that you would have expected to progress at least to the final.
I think Shaheen got a real bad spike on the back of his leg. He jumped up in the air, and although he didn't fall, there he is. Can't see any notable scars. He's had to work very hard and quickly to get back. You've just got to judge that. That won't help him at all, because it was a 62 and then a 65, so they've slowed enough to help him, but he seems to be moving okay. We have a leader, though, and we mentioned fastest losers, and it's interesting, isn't it, because the Japanese athlete Ueno has decided he wants to go out there. He's only run 13:26 this year. 13:21 is best. It's very hot. We haven't really mentioned that tonight. Incredibly hot. I think Hazel did at the start of the show. It's well up into the 30s, and that's not going to help these athletes at all, which is maybe why they don't fancy going too hard. So just under 240 through that first 1,000 meters for Ueno, and then a gap to the others. They're happy to let him go at this point.
Just less than 10 laps to go, and there's 5 to qualify. So if one of the athletes goes out like the Japanese athlete has just done, Ueno, then they've got the decision to make, and it looks as though they made the decision at this point was to let him go. But the crowd are getting excited because Abdosh is chasing the field. He fell, put his shoe back on. He was 120 meters behind the group. He's now about 50 meters, and he really is working hard and really straining to try and get back there. Well, he's good. He's a very, very good athlete. He's got the ability. He's run under 13 minutes for 5,000 meters. He didn't get his shoe on as quickly as they sometimes do, but the crowd now are certainly getting roused by this effort by Abdosh of Ethiopia.
And Shaheen's going a bit closer, and Ueno has slowed down. He had a little look while we were watching Adnosh, and he realised that he had a gap, and I think he got a little bit frightened. But what about Abdosh's effort? He's been sprinting for about the last 600-700 metres and is continuing to do so. He's looking across there, not sure what at. He's now about 35-40 metres from the back of the field, and they're not going fast, but he can't afford to let up, because if they do start to move again, then he can't sort of think, okay, they're slowing down, so I'll slow down a little bit. Brent, you can't do this. Surely even an athlete as good as him he's just about going to catch them when the race starts.
Well, the worst thing about it is when he gets there, he's going to be exhausted, and then they're going to take off again. But 4:20 for 4 laps, so they're not going exceptionally quickly. And look at that, he's getting within sight. He's given this crowd something to cheer for. If it was Kenenisa Bekele, I'll tell you what the difference, Steve. He'd have got his shoe back on a lot quicker than that. I think, you know, in the motor racing they talk about pit stops, but that was a terribly long shoe stop.
They could have done what Charlene Thomas did and just kicked it off and kept running.
So we're into round 2 now in this long jump qualification. The former British record holder, Chris Tomlinson, if you're just coming in after a day's work. Just to let you know, Greg Rutherford broke the British record with his first jump of qualification, 8 metres and 30, just 1 centimetre further than Tomlinson's previous record. Chris started with 8 metres and 6, and at the moment in the consolidated rankings between the two pools here, that's 8th place, and it's the top 12 to the final, or 8 metres and 15, that's automatic. Chris had a few problems qualifying the last major championships, reproducing his season's form when it mattered the most. Second attempt. Well, that doesn't look to be quite as good. We'll update that a little bit later on.
7 laps to go. Mo Farah has done a good job of keeping out of trouble and all of the excitement. We've had a bit of an injection of pace, which was partly down to Shaheen initially, and then Abuya starting to pick it up as well. So we've lost 3 or 4, and actually what that means is Adnosh has caught 3 of them. Well, he's just about to pass his 3rd. The Japanese athlete disappeared, and he's doing his best, but I'm afraid the leading group is staying about 30 metres ahead of him.
Well, here's that long jump result from Chris Tomlinson, 8 metres and 2 centimetres, no improvement.
Well, whilst we in the crowd have been watching the second Ethiopian Abdush doing a brilliant job and working quickly, working hard and getting back to the group. The crowd, the cameraman, everyone concentrating on the second best Ethiopian. In the meantime, the top Ethiopian is quietly settled down right in the middle of the field there in 5th place, just doing enough. Mo Farah sensibly at the back of the group. Mo doesn't have to do anything, he just has to stay in a position. He has to just do what he needs to do to be in contention with a lap to go, and even more so if he's in contention with 150 metres to go, then I think he's one of the top distance runners, fast finishing distance runners in the world. Sad thing is, he's Britain's only distance runner at these championships. Helen Clitheroe ran the 3,000 metre steeplechase, Mo's running the 5,000. We've had nobody else in the 5,000, nobody in the women's 5,000, nobody in the men's or the women's 10,000, and nobody in the men now. The Paula Radcliffe's out, nobody in the women's marathon, and nobody in the men's marathon. So not our strongest point at the moment. 64-second lap, and Abdosh is still closing. I hope he gets in contention. I hope he gets back to the back of the group. If he gets back there the next lap and a bit, he can settle down, recover a little, and then start to concentrate on his position, which would be to try and qualify. But he's going to make himself a hero of this one.
But the crowd are really enjoying his efforts to get back. It is heroic, and he's only now about 2-3 seconds off the back of the group, and he can see them. They've got something to aim at. They have slowed a little bit at the front. They've gone through 3,000 metres in 8.5, so winning time, they'll speed up towards the end. We're probably heading to something around low 13:20s, something like that. And Adnosh would, first of all, he probably needs to get in the top 10. He needs a couple of these people to come off this group, and if he could get past them, at least he's got a chance of a fastest loser spot. But look at that, this is a great effort from him, and they're not aware of what's going on at the front. And look, by the time we get round to the finish line this time, he could well be on the back of that group, because they've very much slowed down at the front. That's a 65.7 lap. Bren, he must have been lapping in about 63s consistently, 63s, 64s for the last 5 laps or so. That's got to hurt.
It certainly has. But you know, if Kenenisa Bekele was aware of what was going on, you would have thought Kenenisa could have gone to the front and slowed them down a little, because to be honest, if he had gone to the front and decided to slow the pace down, then I'm sure the rest of the field would have actually cooperated, only in the sense of being mesmerised by this man, the great champion. But Abdosh has now really, really hoped he gets on the group, he gets a little bit of a time to settle, and then he starts thinking, and I'm desperate for him to get in the first 5 now. I think he's run a brilliant race. I think he needs to go away and learn how to get his shoes back on quicker though, Steve.
Well, he'll look back at the 10 seconds it took him to put his shoe on, at least that long, and well, I think I think he is tired now, because he's got very close and just can't quite close the gap there. 1 or 2 just starting to drop off the back. Miucci of Italy. Espana's just having a little look around. He likes to run at the back of the lead group anyway. Mo Farah is just ahead of him.
Tegan Camp on the inside. They're starting to jog a little bit now, which is good for Abdosh because he's very tired and has slowed down himself. He just can't close that gap. He's made his big effort. I've got a feeling they're going to start moving away from him now as they come round with 3 to go. We've got Chepkok, Abuya, Selmuni will be dangerous. We've got Selinsky of America right on the inside. His teammate Tegan Camp's not far behind him. Bakili's never been far away from the front. Maiden of Eritrea in the blue and red strip. And Mo Farah right at the back of that group with a man who has outkicked him in the past, Espana. So too many in that group for Mo Farah, but as Bren said, I think his sprinting is definitely good enough to beat most of the people in this group here. He's one of the quickest in the world over the last 200-300 metres, when he times his effort right, that is. And I think he's got more confidence about his ability. There he is. He now knows I'm moving into the last 1,000 metres. Things are going to speed up. I just need to be a little bit closer to the action here. Big new personal best over 1,500 metres. His last race before coming to these championships has given him even more confidence, and there he just sits behind Bakili and waiting for things to get moving at the front here.
Well, I think he should stay there. I think that's absolutely right. He's run a quiet race. He's settled down. He's got the great man next to him. He's running in this company. He's at ease in this company these days. And I just think he should have just settled there and just waited behind Bakili, because you know when the bell sounds, Bakili's going to be there or thereabouts. 2 laps to go in this first heat of the men's 5,000 metres. The champion, Olympic champion and 10,000 metre champion, 5,000 and 10,000, Kenenisa Bakili. The 10,000 metre champion from these championships already, now trying to become Ethiopia's first ever 5,000 metre world champion. They've never done it before. They've had athletes second. He himself's been third. The great Haile Gebrselassie was only second, but he'd love to be the one to take the title. But he's got to do his business today. And Mo Farah now, with 600 metres to go, has now got to stay completely aware of everything that's going on around him. Abdosh has made a brave effort, but he's nowhere near them now. He's slowed.
Mo Farah in the perfect position to watch and wait and strike when he needs to. Bakili also looking very comfortable indeed, but there's 12 men in this group and only 5 can go through. Espana at the back just starts to get a little bit closer as he passes Kusuru of Uganda. They take the bell. The 2 Kenyans in front. Ooh, Bakili wanted to get out there and having to run very, very wide. He doesn't mind running wide because he's got that ability to do that. Collis Birmingham following him from Australia. Mo Farah covers it.
Mo Farah covers it really well. Now Mo just needs to stay there with a great man. Just settle down behind him. There's 3 of them edging clear. Mo's got the sprint finish. He knows he's got the sprint finish. He's strong enough these days. He's now in a qualifying position. Looks a little bit ragged in the back straight. They are coming up around him, but there's 6 athletes there contending for 5 places. I'm sure Mo's done enough.
He can outkick certainly Selinsky, and I think Espana's coming out on the outside as well. Mo just needs to be aware of what's happening. He's on the inside, chasing with Chepkok. He knows he's got to run to the line here. Bakili, Tegan Camp, Mo Farah looking good. Chepkok and Espana. Selinsky the one who gets run out of it. Time, well, in the end they got under 13:20 with a very fast last kilometre or so. Shaheen, not the athlete he was, but here's the hero of the moment. He might not qualify, but he's given the crowd something to cheer. Gets the biggest cheer across the line, Abdosh, and he looks at his arms and his hands. He took a very heavy fall, and Bakili, he hasn't stopped running yet.
Well, Mo Farah there, he's just done it right. I thought he ran a really good race tonight. I think that confidence he's got, as we look at Abdosh, bit of a hero of tonight's performance. Very disappointing for him. He fell, he gave it an honest effort. We've seen athletes reinstated over the course of the week into the semi-finals and final. It wouldn't be a big problem to add an extra one, and he's really deserved some consideration, I'm sure. But there, Kenenisa Bakili, Tegan Camp of the United States, Chepkok of Kenya behind him, and then Mo Farah in 4th place on the bend, just trying to do what he needs to do. Selinsky in 5th place, and Jesus Espana, who beat Mo Farah in the European Championships, challenging on the outside. Mo's looking around. He doesn't want to do any more, but he's got the sprinting power. He's got the ability. He's looking comfortable. He's looking strong, and that was a well-organised performance by Mo Farah tonight. He looks every bit at ease in this company. and I thought he ran exceptionally well. I'm pleased he didn't do anything too much early on. He's now downstairs. Say well done to him for us, Phil.
I will do indeed, Brendan. Brendan Foster saying well done. He said you looked at ease in that company and you gave a really accomplished performance there, Mo.
Yeah, it was good. I'm happy with that. You know, I've been waiting around for all week and watching others compete and getting medals as a team. We're doing well, you know. But at the same time, just concentrate on my event, keep my head down. And it's just been quite a long time, so I couldn't wait to go on the track. But, you know, obviously what happened last year, got to move on. And, yeah, I mean, it's in there, so no.
Well, tonight we've had a long jump British record from Greg Rutherford. Will Sharman's made the final, and you're just keeping that momentum going tonight. And what do you think you can achieve? I mean, that kind of performance suggests there's more to come in the final.
Yeah, there's definitely more to come, but you know, it depends on how the races run. Obviously, I've got to get some food, get some ice bath, and look after my body till then. And it's got 2 days rest, so it's a good thing. But you know, just keep doing what I'm doing. I think I'm looking forward to the final.
And it's a new, confident you, it seems.
Yes, it's good. I'm confident, and this is what you got to do, mix in with the best.
All the very best for the final. Well done tonight.
Cheers, thanks a lot.
Well done, mate.
Oh, that ice bath sounds nice. Kennedy Zubakila wins. Tegenkamp, Farah, Chepkok and Espana, all of the qualifiers by right. The others is, yeah, that's quick enough. You never know. Top 10 could go through. Collis Birmingham even in 10th place there. Shaheen out of it though, 11, 13, 26, 35. He couldn't go through even if the other heat was slow.
Back to decathlon pole vault. It's been going on forever here. But Alexei Kasanyov already set a lifetime best at 470. 10 centimeters higher. Valuable points for the second place man, and he's got it. Good effort. Well, 4 meters 80 is 849 points, and with just 2 events to go, you need every point that you can get.
Kasanyov has looked very, very good indeed all the way through this competition. It shows on the leaderboard. 2 more events, the javelin, the 1500 meters. He's right there. 4 meters 80, another personal best.
Well, Trey Hardy's already cleared 5:20, a season's best. Lifetime best is 5:25, so this would set new figures for him, and he's running away from the rest at the moment. No, it's been a long, arduous afternoon in the sunshine, but he's had a very good crowd supporting him. Another very good American decathlete, and with 2 events to go, he can start thinking about the gold medal. Well, Kasanyov in pole vaulting terms has been absolutely flying. New lifetime best performance by 10 centimeters. Can he do it again? No, he can't. So Kasanyov should stay in second place behind Trey Hardy, but the advantage the American will have now will be considerably more than it was before. 59 points before this event, and look at that, 7.306 for Trey Hardy, the American. Now 182 points ahead of Kasanyov. That's going to be difficult to recover with only the javelin and the 1500 meters. Pogorelov still in third. Usain Bolt, and that is the reason that many of the Berlin crowd here will have come to the stadium. Now you see me, now you don't. Well, the next race on the track is a second heat of the men's 5,000 meters. Alistair Cragg there, Irish champion, European indoor 3K champion. Bekana Daba there, the Ethiopian. One of the fastest men in the world this year. Bernard Lagat, of course, of the United States, the defending champion, finished third in the 1500 meters just the other day. And just looking down that page as well, Kipsiro, very good Ugandan. Segei, another very good Eritrean. And one more page to go. Moses Kibet and Eliud Kipchoge, one of the fastest men of all time, world champion back in 2003. Well, you can see the sun going down at the far end of the stadium. That will give a lot of these runners a bit of a sigh of relief, really, because it has been very hot. Gabius, that we just saw on the inside there, certainly in very, very good company here. There's the very tall American Jago, Kipsiro, the Ugandan, packed full of talent once more, this field. They'll be well aware as to what they've got to run if any of them don't come in the top 5, which are the automatic qualifiers. But Eliud Kipchoge, real class act, second only to Kenenisa Bekele this year in the world rankings. 2 Olympic medals, 2 World Championship medals at 5,000 meters, and he won those all before his 24th birthday. And Tedesser, Kidani Tedesser, but Bernard Lagat, historic double it was when he won the 1,500 meters and the 5,000 meters in Osaka. The yellow band signifying that he is the defending champion. There are the fastest losers spots in the last heat.
Step back from the line, please. Step back from the line.
So 2 flanks of runners there. The runners in the outside lanes will have to run the first bend into the home straight around some cones.
On your marks.
Forgot to do that in 10,000 meter race earlier on in the championships. As the Rolling Stones start blaring out on the loudspeaker system, that'll set the rhythm for these guys. And at the moment, Ugandan it is who just comes across in the lead. Tedesser is there as well. Just having a look back through the field there. Kipchoge just on the left-hand side of the screen. Kibet just settling into a nice rhythm.
Well, the second heat, you know, they know exactly what they've got to do, but the qualification, they've got to run under 13:20 or under 13:23, all 5 of them, to get through as fast losers. And on a night like this, it's quite warm down there. It's going to be quite demanding. They know what they've got to do, finish in the first 5, but then because of the earlier heat, they know that if they run 13:23 or so, they would qualify. So that's a dilemma for some of these athletes, because when you look around, some of them know they've got strong sprint finishes, some of them don't want to go too quickly early on, some of them want to conserve some energy, and some of them are not in great shape. But Kipchoge of Kenya on the shoulder of the leader there, looking comfortable. He's watched the 5,000 meters, he's watched the 10,000 meters with Bekele, he's watched the 1,500 meters, and Lagat was in that one, and he's been sitting waiting for his chance. And I think Kipchoge is going to be a danger in the final of the 5,000 meters, but for him, he's got to do the business tonight. He's got to get there, he's got to run well, he's got to qualify, and this is a fairly slow opening 600 meters.
So Mohammed leads them through now, just under 11 laps to go. Kipchoge, fastest man in the field, comfortably in second place.
This man will be one of the favourites for the long jump final, presuming he makes it through to that final. A foul in the first round. So just a little bit of pressure on the world indoor champion. He got a silver medal last year in Beijing. Mokoena over, well over 8 meters this year, 8 meters and 50. Tall, rangy, fast, and that is very comfortable, as you'd expect from a man of his caliber. Very, very talented athlete, both long and triple jump. He's a world junior champion at triple jump. And really came of age, I thought, in Beijing. There's a wonderful silver medal behind Saladino, who's also jumping here. Very much in control of his technique. I think that will comfortably take him through to Saturday's final. Indeed it does. 8 meters and 29. Well, here is the Olympic champion, Irving Saladino. Nursed his way through that competition really, really well. Was injured, but a modest 8 meters in the first round, perhaps just underestimating the amount of effort he needed to get over automatic qualifying. He hasn't done that this time. Just a little frown. Well, I think that should be enough for Saladino. He sits second on the world rankings, 8 meters and 63. Behind Dwight Phillips, we saw him go through, 8 meters 44. And Greg Rutherford with that new British record, 8 meters and 30 at the moment. Chris Tomlinson sitting down in 8th position. So he's in a qualifying place. And Saladino, he's automatically in the final as well, 8:16.
They've been playing musical chairs at the front of this field over the last 400 meters. But now Kidani Tedesser of Eritrea, younger brother of Senese Tedesser, who had such a a brilliant 10,000 metres the other evening. Just settling into first place. 134 there. Kipsiro of Uganda. One or two athletes have tried to take the pace on a little bit, but it's not working. Having said that, though, the field now beginning to be spread out. Kipsiro leads, and still the awesome figure of Eliud Kipchoge there in second place.
Well, you can see Kipsiro leading here. He's a very good young athlete. 4:23 for 1,600 metres, and that's pretty slow pace. They're not doing themselves any favour so far, and every move that's been made, Eliud Kipchoge, you can sense the keenness of the man. We're looking there at Bernard Lagat, the reigning champion. I think his reign is going to only last a few more days. But I think he ran well in the 1,500 to get a medal, but I'm sure he's not running as well as he was. Alistair Cragg of Ireland, they're having a good games. It's great to see, and it's good to see Alistair Cragg in contention here. When he gets it right, Alistair Cragg is a very good athlete, but he's failed on the big occasion on quite a few times. He's been getting it together, he's been getting it ready, he's been training hard for this one and coming right. And now a little bit of altercation between Lagat and Tedessa of Eritrea. I think they shook hands and made up there, though. Didn't actually come to blows, but they were actually involved. And now Kipchoge just settling, just looking good. Still a young man, former world champion. 5:28 for 5 laps, and that is pretty slow. Average speed there about 66 seconds. Kipsiro and Sege of Eritrea coming through on the inside. The smaller Ethiopian Daba, he could do well. Lagat's getting surrounded by athletes. Kipchoge now deciding he wants to dictate the pace. He's quite happy it's this slow. He's got a great finish.
Alhamda is the man in all white from Kingdom of Saudi Arabia, just running behind Tedessa there. Certainly the pace earlier on, it looked as though they were going to pick it up, but they've just settled into a rhythm, almost as though they're resigned to thinking, well, we could kick it out from 1,000 meters to go. But Kipchoge, Kipsiro, and the Frenchman there showing for the first time in third place. That's Amdouni. Very, very steady. And whereas the field about 3 or 4 laps ago, Brendan, was really strung out, it's very tightly packed now.
Well, the second heat here, they're running 68-second laps. They're going really, really slowly. And yet, the first heat, they ran 13:20. And these athletes came to the start line knowing that if they run 13:20 or roundabout, they could get into the final. And I don't think any one of them has been brave enough to do it. Some of them have been very confident in their finish, quite rightly so. That's Lagat, that's Kipchoge. But others of them, being confident in their finish, are going to get a surprise when they come round. 6 laps remaining. The pace steady and slow. They're running 68-second laps, and if you just think about it, the world record held by Kenenisa Bekele, 12 minutes and 37 seconds, and that averages 60.6 seconds, under 61 seconds for the whole of the race, and these are running 68 seconds. So they're well within that compass, but when you do this, when you slow down, when you run much more slowly than you do in training and in racing, then sometimes the nerves play an extra effect. Always was happier running at a steady pace, a 67-second lap, and still they're biding their time. The whole field is in a qualifying position here now.
Yeah, they certainly are. Even Kipchoge there just having a little chat there with Kipsiro. Probably reluctant to take the lead. Frenchman tucked on the inside, Amdouni. Here's the camera. That is Alhamda, Kingdom of Saudi Arabia, and the 2 Eritreans there are still in amongst them, Tedessa and Sigai. And Bernard Lagat has been content for virtually the whole of this race just to sit and wait and watch.
Well, that's what you would expect him to do. He is a 1,500-meter runner. He got a medal last night in the 1,500 meters. No prizes for times tonight, only prizes for position. I think they've given it away in terms of fastest time, so now it's all about finishing in the first 5. And Bernard Lagat, such a smooth accelerator when he gets going. A little bit faster there, 65 seconds. They've got to start going faster eventually. Otherwise, there'll be so many of them on the last lap, and sometimes that's when you get surprises. The Frenchman Amdouni on the inside, the two Eritreans, Sege and Tedessa. The other Ethiopian is moving up, Darba. But still, Eliud Kipchoge of Kenya. He's only 24 years of age. He was a young man when he won the world title in that fantastic race in Paris. But here he is, doing what he wants to do, controlling the pace with 4 laps to go.
Well, just looking there to see how many had broken away. It's around about 12 athletes. And Evan Jager there, the American, right at the back. Alistair Cragg is still hanging on just in front of Jager. But these fellas are really beginning to kick on now. Well used to this pace, certainly Kipchoge and Kipsero. Two Eritreans are still there. And one guy that we haven't really mentioned is James Qualia, on the colours of Qatar there, wearing number 16 on his hip. He's a very useful runner as well. And Bernard Lagat really hasn't moved. He's been in that position pretty much for the whole race. Just watching what's going on at the front.
62 seconds for that lap, so they've lifted it. And when you move it at 68 seconds and 67 seconds, then suddenly throw a 62 in, it does put people under pressure. And I'm disappointed to see Alistair Cragg of Ireland is dropping off the group now. He's fading away. He's running out of chances now with 3 laps to go. There he is, Alistair Cragg in the green vest of Ireland, the athlete who we thought, as a European indoor champion, we thought was able to compete at this level, but he's once again shows good time, shows good performances, but once again on the big occasion he's found wanting. That's a shame. I thought he was in better shape than that. And Eliud Kipchoge, he's actually told them how he wants to run this race. I want to run slowly, then I'll go a little bit faster, but I'll hold the inside position because it's not too far that way. I'm not going to waste any energy on the outside. And you know what? They've let him do it. That's great. 63 seconds for that lap by Eliud Kipchoge.
Yeah, they have picked it up a wee bit. It's the American Evan Jager there just off the back. The Kipchoge looks so comfortable, as does Kipsero. And the Frenchman, Amdouni, is still there. Bernard Lagat still on the shoulder of Sigai. And the Moroccan, first time we've really seen him. Biyatawi going into 4th place. And the two Eritreans just running a little bit untidily there. Not sure which one it is that's running wide, Sigai or Tedessa. But 1 3/4 laps to go. Sigai it is who comes around to take the lead at the moment. And still the defending champion Lagat has not made a move.
Down the back straight. And they are bunched there completely. 600 meters remaining. And now they've got to move it now. Somebody's got to make a move. Bernard Lagat makes a move. Eliud Kipchoge just stumbles there a little. And they bump and collide. And now it's getting it ready in the home straight here with just over a lap to go. They've got to get themselves ready and positioned. Eliud Kipchoge's on the inside and there's a wall of athletes coming outside him. Again, Lagat's trapped, but he's got so much smooth speed that he's not going to be worried too much about that. And as the bell sounds, the sprint starts. And it's going to be a quick last lap. You'll just have a look at it. 12:28 with a lap to go. It'll be 25 or 24 by the time they get round. And this is quite interesting now because there are still too many in contention.
So Kipsero leads. Qualia from Qatar in 2nd place. The Moroccan who's just been biding his time all the time. Biyatawi cruising through now. And these guys are beginning to get away and Bernard Lagat is there. And so is Kipchoge. Kipchoge there on the shoulder of Butayiwi. Kipsero it is who comes away. He's been in the top 2 virtually for the whole of the race. So Qualia in 2nd place. Kipchoge in 3rd. Butayiwi and then James Qualia and Bernard Lagat actually coming through tidily at the end. Only just though, slower than the first semi-final, so it's unlikely we'll get any of the fastest losers coming from this heat. But a very comfortable run indeed.
6 athletes in contention on the bend. Darba of Ethiopia just fading away from it. Kipsero kicks on. Batoui of Morocco strong on the outside. Qualia from Qatar in second place. And then Eliud Kipchoge. And then you can see Bernard Lagat looking over his shoulder. He knows he's done enough. He knows he's qualified. And I'm now beginning to get excited about the final. Bernard Lagat and Eliud Kipchoge safely through, and I'm sure they'll be contenders, and it could be a great race between them and Kenenisa Bekele in the final. Kipchoge looking comfortable, Kipsiro and Qualia looking comfortable. Bernard Lagat doing the wise thing, looking over his shoulder. He sees Dabar not able to contend, and Batawi of Morocco, the other qualifier, and amongst them all the other qualifiers are going to be from the first round.
Well, we understand that Bernard Lagat has been quite badly spiked in the course of that race. He's going through the mix zone there, wants to get those spikes off as quickly as possible. He's had a busy championship, obviously, and couldn't retain his 1500-meter title. Wanted to make amends here and has to go away to some pretty quick repairs at the moment. Oh my goodness, his left leg there, that is a big spike mark in a very painful part of his foot as well.
It's Tomlinson's final attempt in long jump qualification. He's sitting in 8th position at the moment, so not safe yet, though it could well be in the final. Whatever happens here, that isn't any better, I don't think. This is the enigma that is Chris Tomlinson. Given his results for the season, there's a few 820s and high 18s. When it comes to championships, doesn't quite reproduce it. Did so in Athens when he finished 5th, but since then, a mixture of injuries, loss of form. It's never quite clicked in the same way. As I say, in 8th place at the moment, and there's still a few jumpers to go in both pools, but he may be okay. Well, there we go, 8 metres. Confirmation of 8th place consolidated. We just have to wait and see.
Just tie up the results from that second semi-final of the men's 5,000 metres. Kipsiro looking very smooth. 13:22.98. Kipchoge of Kenya, fastest man in the world, of course. And James Qualia of Qatar, Bernard Lagat, the defending champion, and Bouyatoui of Morocco. And all the fastest losers, as Brendan predicted, all came from that first semi-final.
After the Olympics, Jamaica are after another clean sweep in the short sprints. Veronica Campbell-Brown might be their best bet in the women's 200 metres. Can she turn Osaka silver into Berlin gold this time? But we've been joined in the studio by the world's #3 800 metres runner, Jenny Meadows. How does that sound? And tell us what it was like stepping up onto that podium earlier tonight, Jenny.
Sounds amazing. A dream come true. My target before I actually started the championships was to make the final. To go one better and get a medal, I'm absolutely thrilled.
Well, we've had so many emails praising your exploits. I'm just going to give you a little taste of a couple of them. Please give Jenny Meadows the congratulations, and without a doubt, she's world class. That's from Donna. Thank you, Donna. Well done, Jenny. I screamed myself hoarse as you ran down the home straight. Enjoy looking at that medal, and you so deserve it. And one from Tim O'Neill, who says, fantastic effort by Jenny, but why didn't she dip for the line? She could have got silver. There are always critics out there, aren't there?
We've been talking about this. I am actually quite. I didn't get the silver. Perfection. The silver was almost there, but you know, beggars can't be choosers.
Hey, next time, Jenny. But let's review some of the race from just before the bell, because you actually haven't seen it apart from on YouTube, have you?
No, I caught it quickly this morning.
Well, this is just before the bell here, and just tell us how difficult it was to try and maintain your discipline and your focus, and not to be tempted to go with what was a very fast pace.
Yeah, I discussed with my coach, Trevor, hopefully to go through in 57.5, wherever that puts me. Be in that position. I must have had good pace judgment. It was 57.4. Just about there, I did realise the girls were getting a little bit too far in front of me. Maybe that's where the 300s didn't come from. Maybe I should have moved up a little bit sooner. You can see me just start moving up now. I felt very, very strong there still. And I still thought, oh, I've given myself too much to do. I think I'm going to end up with 4th. Just came out wide with 150 to go. I thought, I've got plenty of running still in my legs, just go, go, go. Thought I was destined for fourth there, and just never said never. I just threw myself into lane 4 to get past Savin over the Russian, and just gritting my teeth, hoping I wasn't going to out a track, and yeah. Oh, so close to silver, but yeah, fantastic.
Well, I want you to just savour that moment for a minute, because the whole of Germany is about to savour another moment on the medal rostrum. Robert Harting about to receive his medal. There it is from the discus throw last night.
Gold medalist and world champion.
Certainly was some competition, wasn't it? Listen to this cheer for Robert Harting. To a man and woman, the crowd rise. It was the penultimate throw, been in second place all along. He produced a massive personal best, over 69 metres, 69.43 when it mattered. What a difference a year makes. Only one medalist in Beijing for the Germans, and now they've got 5 already here in Berlin.
Sie stehen eigentlich ja sowieso schon alle, aber bitte erheben Sie sich für die Nationalhymne von Deutschland.
Joins a great list of German discus champion Jürgen Scholt, the world record holder, Lars Riedel, 5 times champion, and now Robert Harting is world champion. And I'm sure it will be a huge inspiration to that lady, Ariane Friedrich, probably the favourite for the high jump competition. We'll be seeing all of that coming up over the next hour and a half or so.
Yes, Germany expects of Ariane Friedrich. And we expected of this lady, Jenny Meadows, and she delivered with that bronze medal. One thing I've always meant to ask you, I know Trevor is your coach, he's also your husband. I don't know whether you promise to love, honour and obey as a wife, but how does it work out? Do you do everything he says as a coach? How does that development work?
It's a really good, successful relationship, really. At the track, he's the boss, and at home, I am. So it works out well. Trevor gets the raw deal of it quite a lot of the time. You know, I'm always on his back at home. You know, I can't leave business at the track. I'm Trevor, you know, this track session was like this, or what about this? And poor Trevor gets it in the ear quite a lot. So yeah, he's fantastic to put up with me. When I finish my athletics career, I've got a lot to you know, pay him back for.
Well, you're a formidable team. And speaking of team, I wonder how much the development of Marilyn Okoro and Gemma Simpson, of course, and the strength of the overall 800-metre squad has actually helped you. What do you think, first of all, Colin?
I think it has to be the case. When you have such good domestic competition, each of you in winter always think, right, I wonder what the other half is doing there. And you always want to be the best one in your country, regardless. And I think what I'm really looking forward to, not to take anything from your bronze medal, is perhaps you going a little bit better in the European Championships next year. I know you're kind of looking forward to that as well, because I think you recognise the fact that you were the top European.
Yeah, definitely. You know, this is amazing to do my first global final and get a medal, but as soon as I finished, I thought, European champs next year, you know. I beat the Ukrainian and the Russian. Yeah, it'd be great to improve that bronze and get a gold, but obviously I know the British girls will be breathing down my neck and thinking, OK, Jenny, you've got a medal, we can do it also. So hopefully the domestic competition will spur us all on.
And obviously, to that effect, how much pressure has this situation taken off you in a financial sense? Because your funding is going to be bumped up, and I know that's been a real difficult subject for you. You even had to take on some part-time work last winter, didn't you?
Yeah, even 2007, when I went to my first World Champs in Osaka, I was still working, and it was really difficult having to get up each morning, 6 a.m, run, work all day, you know, go to the track in the evening and train again. I used to get very run down and tired, and financially we couldn't afford for me to give up my job, but for my athletics I couldn't afford not to. I had to take myself seriously and give myself that opportunity. I've got some UK sport funding, which only basically covers my living expenses, so it will be great now to hopefully get my funding bumped up and you know, have 2 wages coming in to allow me to carry on, hopefully to get more medals and hopefully, you know, reach my dreams obviously in London 2012.
And Denise, what inspiration has Jenny provided for everybody else? Because you said last night in your interview to Phil that you'd been a relay runner, you were classed as a relay runner and you weren't going to go much further, but it was sheer grit and determination that has forced you into this position. What do you make of the sort of inspiration that Jenny is now for youngsters coming through?
A huge source of inspiration. I mean, she's really done it the hard way. You know, some athletes, you know, get a bit more of a helping hand, but Jenny has done it absolutely the hard way, and it proves that it does pay off, and she's only going to go on from strength to strength. You know, next year we've talked about the Europeans, another consolidating year for her, and as I said, she was so superb and so supreme out there, and it's just a great result.
Jenny, I have to ask you, obviously, before you go, about the winner of the race, Caster Semenya. And you've had a chance, you were in the call room with her, obviously, before the race, and obviously coming out for the medal. Have you had a chance to talk to or engage her feelings and emotions about the whole situation?
I haven't, to be honest. She does look like a woman's guard, to be honest. It can't be a nice situation for her. I just think the whole situation has been handled wrong, really. South African Federation and the IAAF should have done something about it before the championships to put her under, you know, this sort of pressure. She's only young and, you know, I think she's quite embarrassed to be put under that situation. So I've tried to make eye contact with her, give her the odd smile, but I think she's, you know, very introverted and really wondering what the whole world thinks about her. So it's a bit of a sad situation, really.
Well, she's clearly a wonderful talent. You're 28 now, something like that, Jenny, aren't you? And when you look at somebody like Kelly Holmes, who's into her 30s and winning Olympic gold medals, I wonder, when you look ahead to 2012, how real that goal now seems for you.
I think last night helped a lot. I looked between Beijing and London, I'd be 27 to 31, and according to the stats, those are great years for women's 800-metre runners to come into the peak. There's always exceptions to the rule, obviously. Kelly Holmes was 34 when she did the double, and I've got to take inspiration from that. But yeah, 3 years out from London, 28 years old, I'm starting to have what should be my years, and hopefully this medal can just spiral and get me in a habit of winning a nice medal next year at the Europeans, and, you know, really get myself into the habit of going to championships and expecting to win medals.
And a very brief word about friends of yours who made a heck of an effort to be with you yesterday, didn't they?
They did. They just decided midnight that they would come over here to support me, and they drove from Manchester all the way to Dover, got the ferry to Calais, and just drove 16 hours across Europe and got here a couple of hours before my race. So I'm so glad I rewarded them by winning a medal and them being here to watch me do that.
All right, plenty of energy drinks for the way back for them.
Definitely.
Jenny, thank you very much for coming up to talk to us. It's been great to see you. Well done again. All right, well, we have some less good news when it comes to British participation in the women's marathon on Sunday, because, as you have been hearing earlier on, Paula Radcliffe, after competing in the New York half marathon at the weekend, has decided that it's not for her on Sunday. Let's hear her decision. She broke the news to Phil Jones earlier.
Well, Paul, you've had to make a difficult decision. Tell me how you came to it.
It was tough to get there. I think probably for the last 6 weeks or so in training, Gary's been saying to me, you know what, you're just going to be 3 weeks too short. You're just not quite going to be there. And I'd almost made the decision 2 weeks ago that I just wasn't good enough to go. And then a couple of the sessions really picked up, and it's like the door was still open. So I thought, well, I can't go in without a confidence boost, without knowing over the marathon distance that things will be right, which is why I did the sort of test run out in New York. And I guess coming through that race, it was first of all, really nice to be back racing and everything to come through it structurally good, no setbacks afterwards. But I think I just needed to feel just a little bit fitter in the race, just to it to be a bit more comfortable at that pace. And my gut feeling after the race was, I just don't know if I'm quite ready. And then people were saying, well, it's a really tough course, and it was very humid. And so I guess what just confirmed it was that the bounce just hasn't really come back as quick this week into my running as it should do if you're really 100% ready to go. And it's really hard coming here and being with the team and really wanting to get out there and pull on the vest and do your bit, especially when the team's doing so well this year with the setbacks that we've had coming into it. The team here has performed really well, and I really wanted to be part of that. But I think I kind of needed to go through that process rather than just calling it 2 weeks ago, because I have worked hard to try and be here, and I think I owed it to myself to give myself that chance to kind of see was I ready or not, and sadly I'm just not quite ready enough.
Well, Steve and Bren in the commentary box, you've been across this decision for the last couple of days, and I wonder what you make of it. Is she doing the right thing, Steve?
Absolutely. She probably won't tell you all of the details of the last week or two, but I think the decision, probably the first couple of sentences there were as true as anything. I think both Paula and Gary knew a few weeks ago that they were always fighting a battle against time. There was one little thing which kind of affected her decision a couple of weeks ago when she was pretty sure she wasn't going to come. Paula always thinks about winning things. She was never going to come here if she couldn't win. And when Mikitenko, who was a big favourite to win the marathon, actually pulled out a week on Saturday, I think it just sowed a little seed in Paula's mind that, hang on, there's the big favourite has pulled out. The field here might not be all that strong. And she thought, maybe I should delay this decision a little bit longer. Went to New York, and as she said herself, she didn't quite get all the feedback from that she would like. So I think it's absolutely the right decision. Marathon, toughest event on the books. You've got to be 100% right, haven't you, Brent?
I think that's right, and to be honest, you know, she's given it the best shot. She's tried and she's hung on and she's hung on, and she wasn't keeping anybody else out of the team, so it didn't make any difference from that point of view. She had the option to run if she thought she was fit enough, and she's such a great champion, Paula Radcliffe. She has been world champion, she is world record holder, and I think going all the way and all the way and all the way, and then finally deciding sort of Tuesday, Wednesday that it wasn't enough. She wasn't fit enough, as she just said. She'll be fit in a couple of weeks' time. I think that's fine, and I just hope we see Paula Radcliffe over the next few weeks, next few months, next year or the year after, because I just would love to see Paula Radcliffe run in London in 2012. I think she should just gauge her races between now and then. I'm sure she'll do that, but hard luck, Paula.
Okay, well, obviously the target is 2012 when Paula will be 38. Clearly great inspiration from the defending champion who was 38 in Beijing when she won there. But from what is the longest event for the women to the second shortest, it's the women's 200 metres semi-finals, and Jenny Meadows' roommate Emily Freeman is going in the first of these for Great Britain, and she's got Olympic champion Veronica Campbell-Brown for company in it as well. Back to you, Steve.
Yeah, she's got a very tough semi-final here. We've seen a couple of athletes, Yelena Bolson of Russia on the inside, that was Algazara from Bahrain, and this in lane 3 is Emily Freeman. Wakefield girl, and with a good season she's had behind her, would have come to here expecting at least to get the semi-final, but the final is another matter entirely, because outside her she's got Marshevette Hooker, 5th in the Olympics last year, one of the quickest women in the world in 2009. Then she's got the double Olympic champion Veronica Campbell-Brown from Jamaica in lane 5, one of the favourites to take the gold medal here. I say one of the favourites, Alison Felix, probably the red-hot favourite. But also from Bahamas, Debbie Ferguson-McKenzie, 33 years of age now, 22.23 this year, has been in fantastic form, was in the 100-metre final. This a better opportunity for a medal, surely. Johanna Danoir of France is in lane 7. 22 years of age, improving pretty much with every race. And then Eleni Artemata, she indeed did improve to a new national record to get into this semi-final. So it's clear the task in hand here. There's the full lineup: Bolson, Algazara, Freeman, Hooker, Campbell-Brown, Ferguson, McKenzie, Danoir, Artemata. Well, I think Emily Freeman has to accept here that there are 2 or 3 medal contenders ahead of her, but if she comes in the first 4 and it's quick, then she's got a chance of going through to the final. So that's got to be the minimum target. Come in the top 4 here. Anything better than that is a real bonus and run. Well, 22.79, her season's best, 22.72, her personal best last year. She's in very good form. Needs to find a little bit extra here if she can.
Set.
Emily Freeman away pretty well with Mishap Hooker outside her, running a good bend as Emily Freeman, but outside her, Campbell Brown going well, and Debbie Ferguson-McKenzie, as ever, has run a brilliant bend, and there, Hooker's pulled up, and Emily Freeman's right in the chance here. Top 2 qualify, but Freeman running well, has got to keep going right to the line here. Campbell Brown will win this, Ferguson-McKenzie in second place, Emily Freeman will, maybe hang on to third, I'm not sure. I think Automata may have just got ahead of her. And I'm not sure about the time for Emily Freeman there, no doubt about the front 2. And her chances improved when Hooker pulled up with an injury around that top bend. Unfortunate for the American, but just gave Emily Freeman a bit of a chance there. But as there we see Hooker walking away. As we got to the last 30-40 metres, Emily Freeman went from 3rd perhaps to 4th. We'll look at that in just a second here, Paul.
Well, I'm dying to see what Emily Freeman's time was. Certainly at this stage she was already gaining ground on Mishap Hooker, who pulled up round about there. So really the drive was on for Emily Freeman to try and challenge Veronica Campbell-Brown, of course, twice the Olympic champion, and Debbie Ferguson-McKenzie, who came through to nick it in the end. But Emily Freeman, a new lifetime best performance, 22.64, and that will really bring a big smile to her face. But can she qualify as one of the fastest losers? Well, a race there, Michael, full of incident.
It was a great race for Emily Freeman, though. Emily actually got out very, very well, made up ground on Mishap Hooker, the athlete from America that went down very early in the race. She made a great transition here off of the bend into the straight. This was the more difficult of the 3 semifinals, the 2 yet to come. So I think that this bodes very well for Emily Freeman, who ran the race of her life. That speed endurance that we talked about yesterday, that was a question for her, still a question here. It's not able to maintain that same speed and pace, but a great start. You can't see on the outside here, but she's already starting to make up ground on Mishap Hooker before she goes down. She looks very, very comfortable on the bend, as she did yesterday, running very tight to the side of the lane there. Very nice race by Emily Freeman here, and this is very for her, maintaining focus, concentration, and running a lifetime best. She's down with Phil Jones now. Look forward to hearing how she felt about the race.
Thanks, Michael. Well, how did you feel about the race?
It was okay. It was a bit off-putting. Obviously, got on my outside, pulled up. Just kind of tried to carry on, and yeah, it was maybe a bit tight towards the end, but that's all right. PB, I've got to be happy with that.
Most definitely, and obviously you've got to look out now whether you can get through as the fastest loser, but the way you've actually performed on the stage the last couple of days, you must be delighted.
Yeah, I'm pleased. It'd be nice to get another run out here, definitely, and make the final. Let's have to see what the other heats do. Yeah, I'm happy enough, I suppose.
I suppose it's building in increments for you. We saw you in the World Championships a couple of years ago, an unfortunate disqualification, taking a step up in Beijing, and now it's come further this season for you.
Yeah, I'm glad to run better than I ran last year. The training's gone better and everything, so yeah, I'm just hoping to build each year as I get more and more training in and stronger and stronger. So.
Well, we'll eagerly watch those times and wish you all the very best, Emily.
Thanks.
Yeah, she's not sure, is she? She's got to be pleased with her personal best, and most importantly, she has got third spot. Were there to be obviously a tie in terms of the second fastest loser or even first fastest loser, she did finish ahead of Artimata, who got a new national record, another one, the Cypriot, with 22.64. So Ferguson-McKenzie, Campbell Brown, as expected, go through, and Emily Freeman will have to cross her fingers now. 2 more races to come.
We saw the long jump qualifying a little bit earlier on. We heard from Greg Rutherford, who broke the British record. Chris Tomlinson didn't make automatic qualifying of 8:15, but he did make it through as one of the, well, quite lucky losers, but top 12.
Well, Chris, well done on making the final. Tell me how you felt out there, first of all.
Yeah, well, it was great. Strangely great to see Greg go up to 8:30. It really boosted me, and I happened to produce 3 8-metre jumps. It's all now about moving on to Saturday, hopefully get my British record back and trying to somehow work out how on earth I can hit an 8:40. I'm hitting the consistency, but there's got to be a bigger jump there.
Well, that's a good thing. You know it's there, you know it's within you, and the kind of season you've had tells us that also.
Yeah, definitely. It's just a matter of me gambling now. I'm in a position where I know I'm inside the top 10 in the world and I'm jumping 8 metres every week, but to be honest with you, I'd rather just gamble, and hopefully if I can pull off an 8:50, then hey, great, and if I don't and I get 3 fouls, then I get 3 fouls, but I've got to go for it.
Well, the good thing is it's all clicking for the British team, it seems, at the moment. All the momentum's building, which is great.
Yeah, definitely. A lot of people were talking us down, but obviously Jess came out of a gold medal, and Philip's also a gold medal, and Jenny Meadows is now a bronze medalist. So it's absolutely great. I think there's a new era coming through, and you know, hopefully we're starting to fill those shoes that, you know, the people like Linford Christie's, the Colin Jacksons, the Jonathan Edwards, the Steve Batleys, and so on used to do.
We certainly hope so. Well done for your performance tonight. Excellent.
Okay, thank you.
Semi-final number 2 now. Ferguson of the Bahamas, Zaitsev of Russia, Williams of the USA, Mothersell of the Cayman Islands, Felix, the defending champion from the USA, McLaughlin of Jamaica in lane 6, Williams of St Kitts and Nevis, and Jones Ferret of the US Virgin Islands. Alison Felix, twice the world champion, twice the Olympic silver medalist over 200 metres, just looks so super smooth in her heat at 22.88, but looking to go faster here. Emily Freeman there hanging on in as one of the fastest losers, 22.64, but there are 2 more races to go, so it's touch and go really. And certainly challenging Alison Felix. You've got people like Jones Ferret here and Sidonie Mothersell, who goes in lane 4. And Sidonie Mothersell, I think, ran one of her best races in the heats the other day. Haven't seen a run like that for a long time. She goes inside Alison Felix, 22.69 on that occasion. So only 2 qualify, and we've seen the fastest loser situation. Emily Freeman ran 22.64, but there's the favourite. Well, Felix once again very quickly away, already gaining ground on McLaughlin outside her, and Sidonie Mothersell is being left. Right on the outside, Jones Ferret is having a good run, but coming into the home straight, Alison Felix has got a bit of work to do now. She's being challenged by McLaughlin of Jamaica, but Felix comes away. McLaughlin in second place, Jones Ferret third, 22.45. So that fastest losers time by Emily Freeman may be under threat. We'll let you know as soon as possible, but the defending champion is safely through.
Well, I wasn't quite sure what to make of that from Alison Felix. My instinct tells me that she was taking it very easy there. Seemed to get out of the blocks pretty well. McLaughlin outside is running a very good race. Jones Ferret, as expected, is going well out there in lane 8. I'm watching the times coming up here. I'm hopeful for Emily Freeman. McLaughlin's time is 22.55. But Felix at this point, I was just expecting her to kind of glide away here, and she really doesn't until the last sort of 20-30 metres. By the way, good news for Emily Freeman. Third spot, Jones Ferret on the outside there is 22.74. That's slower than the first semi-final. Michael, what did you make of Alison Felix there? Was she running easy?
She looked like she was always under control, Steve, and that's the most important thing. But not a great start, actually. Not very aggressive. She ran the curve very well here, but Laverne Jones Ferret on the outside was putting a little bit of pressure, but she responded well, didn't panic. She looks like she's under control. I think we just expect her to have a little bit more of a lead coming off of the curve against this type of heat, because the other heat prior, the heat that Emily Freeman ran in, was a much more difficult heat. But I think the most important thing here, this is a semifinal. You win your semifinal, you run under control, which she's done here. She's such a graceful runner as well, with a very, very long legs. She's not very tall, but she has very, very long legs, so it's a little bit deceiving. She never looks like she's running really that hard, but she's always running fast, so fast enough here to win this heat. And I expect she's still the favorite for this. Veronica Campbell-Brown and Debbie Ferguson will give a challenge, but I think she's the favorite still.
Here's the result. Alison Felix, 22.44. Anisha McLaughlin, Jamaica, 22.55. New lifetime best for her. And as Steve said, Laverne Jones-Ferret has not done enough to make it through. So Alison Felix, double world champion, of course. She spoke to Phil afterwards.
Well, once again, Alison, well done. A commanding performance. It seems like you've got an extra gear there at the end when you were being challenged as well.
Yeah, I mean, I definitely wanted to win this race. Wanted to get a good position in lane for the final.
And tell me how you're feeling in body and spirit at the moment.
I feel good. I'm excited. I'm going to rest up. Looking forward to the final.
And this crowd tonight, an inspiring crowd, a similar crowd hopefully to cheer you on to maybe gold.
Yeah, hopefully. I mean, it's amazing. I'm looking forward to the Bolt race also, so it'll be good.
All the very best. Well done again.
Thank you very much.
Well, our first chance to look at this women's high jump competition that we've been eagerly anticipating. The bar now 196. Who's Bethia? Ranked 3 in the world this year. It's not just about the top 2. She's made the first 2 heights easily so far, over 2 meters this year, and very comfortable for the Spanish athlete. I'm surprised she's the Spanish record holder indoors and outdoors. Blanka Vlasic has also cleared these 2 heights at a first attempt. Friedrich passed 187, cleared 192, and is now passing 196, so very confident there in her ability. So there we are, in first for the moment, but that's really irrelevant at this stage. Next outfit at 196, Svetlana Shokolina of Russia. Also got Stazarenko, a teammate here, and Chicharova. Russian high jumping, not perhaps quite at the height it was a few years ago. Oof, she gave it a rattle, didn't she? But she's over at 196 as well.
So the last of our semi-finals in this 200 metres, that's Kellyanne Baptiste of Trinidad and Tobago. She's actually from Tobago. Muna Lee has been more impressive than I think I've ever seen her at these championships. And could well be a threat. We've lost Marshavet Hooker, a teammate of the pulling up in Emily Freeman's semi-final. Of course, that Alison Felix through without a problem. Simone Facey, again, another new face, if you pardon the fun, I guess. Pardon the fun, pardon the pun. On the athletics circuit, Monique Williams of New Zealand. Well, she set a new national record. And looks very, very happy to be in this semi-final. Yulia Gashina, well, at her best, certainly a threat. Concentrated on 400 last year. Gashina in lane 7, outside Olivia Borlée of Belgium. I'm not sure she'll be a threat here, but of course, 2 things. We're looking for the top 2, and we're watching the clock. Emily Freeman is still one of our fastest losers. Missed a couple of athletes on the inside. That's Virgil Hodge. She had the inside lane actually in her qualifying heat as well, so finds herself in lane 1 once more, and Vida Anim of Ghana is outside her. There she is. African champion back in 2006. And we'll have to find something close to that personal best, not her season's best, if she's to move through. So Kellyanne Baptiste, Muna Lee, Simone Facey. .22.64 is still Emily Freeman's time, getting her into the final at the moment. There you can see. That was the tall figure of Monique Williams of New Zealand. Lane 6.
The first chance to see Blanka Vlasic, the defending world champion, but number 2 in the world so far this year. Striking figure, superb athlete. She's going through a mental preparation. That slight lean, mirroring the lean as she comes into the bar. Under the greatest pressure, perhaps slightly susceptible. She won't have any more pressure than she has tonight, I don't think. Looked good, didn't it? Very good indeed.
Unlike the Olympic Games, Jonathan, I think Blanka Vlasic is looking absolutely superb here. She realises she made mistakes last year and she won't want to make the same mistakes again.
Some super slow-mo shots here. On the pole vault a little bit earlier on. Full marks to the cameraman, full marks to Blanka Vlasic. Clear at 196, no failures so far from the Croatian.
Kellyanne Baptiste in 3, Mona Lees in 4. A couple of other very good athletes though further out, Gashina and Simone Facey. Quite an even semi-final, this one. Get away cleanly this time. Let's see how they break. Gashina started very quickly out in lane 7, and also Simone Facey going well, and a very good bend by Mona Lee of the USA. Mona Lee's going to come into the home straight with about a metre or so lead. She's pulling away, just the top 2 to go through. Simone Facey has that second place, and then there's the fast finishing Monique Williams from New Zealand. This is going to be a win for Mona Lee. Facey's going to take second, then Monique Williams, and I have a feeling with that time of 22.3 that we can probably say, we'll confirm it in a minute, well done to Emily Freeman with 22.64. She's going to be into the final tomorrow night. We'll give you a confirmation of all of that, but I think that was an easier semi-final, wasn't it? But Mona Lee does look good.
Absolutely right. She looks superb. She didn't get away to the best start because Simone Facey outside her, who's been improving all year, looking very good indeed. And Monique Williams just breaking in there, 22.9 in 3rd place, despite the fact it was a national record for New Zealand. It does mean that Emily Freeman goes into the final. But Mona Lee just beginning to ease down now. She is going to be a threat for that gold medal. And Simone Facey qualifying comfortably ahead of Monique Williams. But Mona Lee during these championships is looking better and better. Michael.
She absolutely is. She's a great athlete, sometimes not rising to the occasion, as what happened last year when she ran the 10.8 for 100 meters, made the 100 team, and didn't really produce at the games. But I think she's determined here. This was an incredible bend and never let up, just put the hammer down and put incredible distance between herself and the rest of the athletes on the curve. Steve is right. This was the easier final, semi-final, but she took full advantage of the situation with a great qualifying time, positioning her well for the final.
Well, the good news is, if you look at the times, as Paul was saying, we can confirm 22.3 and 22.58, the 2 qualifiers at the top, Mona Lee and Simone Facey. But Nick Williams, another national record, but it won't be quick enough. And Great Britain's Emily Freeman will be in the 200-metre final.
Mum's the word. Can America's Lashinda Demas follow Australia's Jana Rawlinson last time as the latest mother to multitask away to 1-lap hurdles gold? That is on the track next. And then it'll be time to welcome back a global sporting icon as legend grows, but Usain Bolt is also a son and a brother, and clearly now a Berliner as well. The Bolt family is here in force, and Phil Jones has managed to grab a quick word with them all.
From Jamaica,
Usain Bolt!
It's a great feeling for me to be the dad of the world champion and the Olympic champion, fastest man in the world. It's a great feeling.
It's good. It's good. It's a good feeling. It's really great.
He was a good kid, and he was playful, but he do his school work, and he was all around it.
During his school time, going to school, I knew he was going to be an athlete. because going to kindergarten, he was always, a keep running, and he never liked anyone to beat him. So he was always at the top.
He used to play cricket. Cricket was his first choice. But then he switched to athletic. Those were the two things we were doing in primary school. But as parents, we sit down and we realize that he was doing better in the athletics, so we choose for him there, but he accepted.
He likes to win. Because even when we play football, man, he doesn't like to lose, man. We'll always beat him up anyway, and then he will cuss and thing, but he likes to win, doesn't like to lose, and he likes to entertain. Right? So that's where he comes from. Right?
Well, at the age about 12, they always have there some championship at the end of school term, and he always run the 200 and 400, and he always win those races. So I said to myself, well, he looks to be a good athlete, and from then I realized that he's gonna do great things. On to high school, he performed great there.
In 2002, when he won the World Juniors, that's where he really understand where he was going.
As he's grown older and he's sort of grown into himself and his character, and we've seen him perform at the start line and the little actions that he does, and everybody loves it and warms to him. Is that something you've always seen in him?
Well, yes, as I said, he's jovial, he's a playful guy, he likes to dance, and he said it made him feel more comfortable, relaxed before the race, so that's why.
And does he get that from you or his mom or?
I used to go to parties, so maybe.
So something in the genes?
It is.
Myself and Usain, we play around a lot. As big as he is, he always sits in my lap. And because of that, he loves playing around.
Some very strong values have been instilled in Usain. There's some things that he just does you will never get him to. Even though he's rich, he's everything, there's something that is because of those two simple country folks. They're just the best set of people.
What about the athletic genes? Did you pass any of those on to him?
Well, I used to do the 200 and 400 at primary school, but not as good as him.
Great to hear from Wellesley and Jennifer. So Usain Bolt, superstar and super son, is on track in the 200 metres final in around 20 minutes. Make sure you're with us for that. But a little bit of information about Emily Freeman's run to get through to the final of the 200. Emily becomes the first British athlete through to the final of the 200 in the World Championships since Kathy Cook won bronze 1983. Fantastic achievement, Colin. Initial reaction to that, bearing in mind that we had the likes of Jeanette Kouachi and Sarah Claxton making Olympic finals last year too.
No, it's great to see another female sprinter breaking through. Really, I think it's really important that we see a variance of athletes who are breaking through. It's nice to see what she actually achieved. She ran a personal best again. And this is all the things that we always asking these athletes to do. When they're well prepared, they come here and deliver their best performance when it really matters. And Emily's another person who's done that today.
It's good to see, definitely. Now, turning our attention to 400 hurdles, Melaine Walker of Jamaica, 1 second faster than the field. Lashinda Demas, what's she got to combat her this time, Michael, do you think?
Oh, Lashinda Demas has been incredible, though, this year. I mean, she's been very, very consistent, and she's coming back from having babies, and she says that it gives her power. She's got baby power, and she's very, very confident. She's run very well throughout the rounds. Melaine Walker, obviously the Olympic champion, very, very confident. The whole Jamaican machine is behind her, so it should be very interesting.
It should be. Mother to twin boys, 2-year-old now. Dwayne and Dante, I understand, don't worry, they're at Lashinda's mum's. She's looking after them, everything's cool. But in terms of super mums, when you look through athletics history, so many super mums have come back even stronger afterwards. Liz McColgan, Paula Radcliffe, Ingrid Christensen, and in golf recently over the summer we had the likes of Katrina Matthew winning the Open Championship too. What is it about childbirth that seems to suit elite sportswomen?
You're asking the wrong person.
As a mum of 3,
But yeah, so it's happened. It really happens. Girls can do it, and you know what? I just think it's a feather to their bow. Women are strong women.
Well, let's hope that it has some effect for mums around the world everywhere. Elaine Walker, she's the undisputed favourite. Let's get down to them. This 400 hurdles final is upon us now.
Thanks, Hazel. Well, we saw Melaine Walker bouncing around there, obviously looking forward to this final. Lashinda Demas, 100th of a second faster in terms of a lifetime best. The only difference, of course, is the season's best. But Lashinda Demas, super mum, said, I've had more workouts with the twins than I've ever had on the track before. Kalisa Spencer is a very good talent at 22 years old, former world junior champion. Huge support for the Jamaican team. Natalia Antioch, Olympic bronze medalist over 400 meters flat, and suddenly she is a world-class 400-meter hurdler. .54.86 in her semi-final at a canter. And finally, Anastasia Rabchenyuk of the Ukraine finished 4th at the 2008 Olympics, almost got a medal. She's got the outside lane. The athletes we missed, Angela Morasanu of Romania on the inside, Tiffany Williams, there's the lineup of the United States, Jasan Lucas, Trinidad and Tobago, Melaine Walker of Jamaica, the Olympic champion, Lashinda Demas of the USA, second in 2005, Kalisa Spencer of Jamaica, Natalia Antioch of Russia, and Anastasia Rabchenyuk. Well, just as a matter of interest, the world record has gone twice at women's 400-meter hurdles finals in the past. In 1993, of course, Sally Gunnell, 52.74. Kim Batten in 1995, 52.61. I wonder if it can happen again. A real big confrontation, particularly between the athletes in lane 4 and 5, Melaine Walker and Lashinda Demas. The World Championship 400-meter hurdles final for women.
Set.
Well, Melaine Walker not off particularly quickly. Lashinda Demas has gone off well. First to rise over that first barrier, already up on the shoulder of Kalisa Spencer outside of Lashinda Demas is absolutely flying, but it's at this point that Melaine Walker normally comes on strong. Lashinda Demas is going well, but so is Natalia Antioch of Russia out in lane 7. Lashinda Demas rising at exactly the same time as Melaine Walker. Melaine Walker and Lashinda Demas together. They're going to come into the home straight, and this is where the battle will really begin. Antioch is losing ground at the moment. Melaine Walker goes into the lead, almost went, but Melaine Walker is coming away. Take a look at the clock. This could be dramatic. Melaine Walker going for the line. Melaine Walker, a massive improvement on a lifetime best, 52.42. Just 0.8 outside of the world record. The Jamaican medal machine thunders on here in Berlin. That puts Jamaica top of the medal table, ahead of the USA. And whereas Lashinda Demas may have started favourite, the Olympic champion had other ideas. That was superb.
Whoa. These championships are getting better and better and better. That was a stunning run from a great champion. Lashinda Demas didn't do a lot wrong. If you'd said she was going to come here and run under 53 seconds in the final, you'd probably say the gold medal would be yours, but they didn't reckon with the Olympic champion coming and running the biggest race of her life, almost breaking the world record, just 0.08 of a second off the world record. Just watch this. Now, Demas always starts quickly, and then I think she thought, okay, Walker's going to come strong, and this is where Walker does start to make inroads into Demas's lead. You've got Antioch, who's really attacked the first 200 metres as well. Is going to pay for that a little bit later on, because these two women are running practically world record pace. Demas runs a good bend, gets the upper hand again as they come into the home straight, but she's tired now. What have they both got left? Walker, Demas together. Demas suddenly realises, I'm not going away here, hits this one, and then her momentum's gone. To be fair, she keeps her strength together, keeps it going to the end, but hurdling well, hurdling really well, and running the best race of her life, despite the fact she's the Olympic champion, is Melaine Walker. Wonderful race. Demas easing down, still running under 53 seconds. Well, Colin, what did you make of that? Here's Demas there just taking coming in the home straight, very tired and clipping the hurdles. But what about Melaine Walker?
Wow, I tell you, this battle between the United States and Jamaica just keeps going on and on. You know, just before these championships, Demas absolutely hammered Melaine Walker in Monte Carlo, and look how the tables have been turned. It was a great race. Both women knew they had the ability to win this championships, and they were going to battle right the way through to the line. And Melaine Walker there, look at that, 52.42, just outside the world record. Now this is the most crucial part of the race now. Everybody's very tired, and all you've got to do is just hold your form, hold your technique together. And unfortunately, there, as you see, Demas, she clips that barrier, and it was a nightmare from here on in, because Melaine Walker just snaked over the final barrier, kept driving towards the line, and took the victory well to be the Olympic champion and the world champion. Well done.
Bar at 1m99 now. Ariane Friedrich's second jump in this competition, cleared 192 first attempt and passed 196. We saw Vlasic, a great rival here, clear that. The whole crowd clapping, the whole crowd watching. Well, pretty decent pull. Not skying it perhaps like Vlasic did. It is slightly higher, to be fair. But she's over, and that's all that matters.
That's a great study of concentration and technique and precision. Every chance of a fantastic head-to-head tussle here. One or two other good jumpers in there as well, apart from Vlasic and the German. The coach looks pretty cool, doesn't he? But Friedrich is really pumped up.
Di Martino, eventually joint silver medal a couple of years ago in the World Championships. We'll come back to that shortly. And just before Ariane Friedrich, we saw Anna Chicharova, the first athlete clear at 1m99, and that was really a very good clearance indeed. She cleared 2m04 last year, got the bronze medal in Beijing. As you rightly said, Paul, it's not just about Friedrich and Vlasic. Chicharova right there.
The 400-metre hurdles final, what a race it was. Melaine Walker, a Jamaican record, a new World Championship record, the second fastest time in history behind Yulia Pechonkina's world record. Lashinda Demas, not disgraced, 52.96, and a new national record for the Trinidadian Josan Lucas.
Well, Blanka Vlasic is preparing herself. She'll jump after Emma Green. And because one of the big things for field events is how you manage yourself through the competition. You're out there a long time. Most of the time you're not jumping. You're just sitting, watching, you're pacing. You've got to make sure that you keep your mind sharp. Don't let the concentration fade. So Emma Green, no. She got a world bronze in 2005, hasn't really kicked on since then. It's Yannick Tregaro, coaches Christian Olsen, and is engaged or married to Emma Green. Christian Olsen made a comeback after lots and lots of injury. He's the former Olympic and world champion in the triple jump. Christian Olsen, I think, will be back next year. It would be great to see him, Philip Sadowu, and also Nelson Lavora go head-to-head in the triple jump. The officials just making sure everything's absolutely right as Vlasic begins her mental preparation. Paul, she's absolutely a picture of concentration, isn't she?
Yes, she is, and altogether a different athlete than we saw in the Olympic final last year. She was absolutely shocked to have been beaten. But she hasn't competed as much this year. She looks a lot sharper. Perfect record so far, and 199 should be very easy. Now, just looking at the table, Chicharova clear, as we've seen, Friedrich. All the rest have had one failure, but here goes Blanka Vlasic of Croatia. Oh, she rattled it. And the importance of that first-time clearance is that one failure, even if she got it next time, could have counted against her when it comes to the medal. So that was important.
She'll be jolly relieved that stayed on, no doubt about it. Friedrich, though, has seen it in the crowd. There was a little murmur through the crowd. They're judging each clearance, getting an idea of who's perhaps looking the best. So if it was on points, maybe it's that round to Friedrich.
Here we go. I'll tell you what, that bear's been very busy over the last 24 hours. Go Melaine Walker. Whoopsie daisy, she's slipping down a bit. Oh my goodness. Well, that was a first failure by the bear. Dear me. Well, Lashinda Dimas, of course, a silver medal. And afterwards she spoke to Phil.
Lashinda, I know you wanted the gold medal and you've had a wonderful season. Under 53 seconds though on the silver. Can't be overly disappointed with that, surely?
No, but you know, when you go out on the track, you expect to do the best that you can. And that wasn't my best performance. There was a lot of faults in that race, and I just have to prove myself on the next race.
What was the reason for that, do you think? Was it the pressure of the night, of the situation?
No, I hit about 3 hurdles pretty bad. And I normally don't hit hurdles like that. I didn't switch legs like I was supposed to. So it was just an overall bad technical race.
The silver medal nonetheless. Can you sum up what that achievement means in this moment?
I'm still blessed to be here. I can't complain, because you can go as bad as not having a medal at all. So I have to appreciate what I do have.
Thank you and well done.
Thank you.
Well, Lashinda very gracious in defeat there. Melaine Walker, Olympic champion, turning into a world champion. And of course, next up on the track, every chance of another Jamaican gold medal.
Yes, it's showtime, one-man showtime. Bolt against the clock in the 200 meters final. That is next. But we're very glad to see that Melaine Walker has suffered no lasting damage after a bear hug that went wrong. That had you in hysterics, Denise.
That's the best thing I've seen in a long time. I mean, crash, bang, wallop. Super.
But the best thing, genuinely, that we've seen for a very, very long time, in fact, the second quickest time in history over the one-lap hurdles. What did you make of Melaine Walker's time and the manner of her victory today?
It was an incredible victory. It was a great race up until the 100 meters to go, and at that point, Melaine Walker just pulls away. She's so strong. She had the advantage being on the inside of Lashinda Dimas, who's just been on fire this year. Unfortunately, as Lashinda mentioned there, she had some just stuttered there, didn't change legs, and that just caused her all types of problems at that point. I'm sure Colin can speak better to it than I can, but at this point, Melaine Walker's just in complete control of this race and will not give it up. She's got so much confidence from being the Olympic champion and came in here determined. And as I said, the Jamaicans are so strong and there's so much support and confidence on that team.
Okay, well, let's hear from the champion. She's down there with Phil.
Melaine, congratulations. What a performance. Now, coming into this championship, you were looking for this kind of outcome. You'd hope for a time like that. Did you really expect you could deliver?
Well, at this point in time, I know I've worked hard. I've known I've been in practice. My stomach hurt, my back hurt, my arms hurt. I tried everything I can. I know I practiced hard for this. And I said, listen, I'm not going down. It's all or nothing, man. And I've not been beaten a couple of times for the season, but it's not important as it is today. And I just came out today and showed them that I'm a real champion and I can do it.
And you were so close to the world record. It's a new Commonwealth record. Tell me what that means in the context of winning a world title as well.
Well, I am just grateful. I thank God. Everything I put God before me, and I know I couldn't have done it without him. And I know I've made it because I'm here, I'm in the finals. What could go wrong? You know what? If you give it your best, whatever happened, as long as you come to the line and you know you did your best, you feel good. And I came out and my best was put me in the victory, and I am so happy for that.
Well, all you Jamaican fans back in Britain will be delighted for you. We've seen lots of Jamaicans do a lap of honour, but yours has been the most eventful. What happened there with the mascot?
Yeah, he he tried to pick me up, but I'm like, I'm having fun. And he kept running, but he couldn't see where he was going, and he go bumping through the hurdles. But it was okay, it was fun. I get a laugh out of it, and I was able to celebrate just the same.
Well, well done, a brilliant performance.
Thank you.
Yes, a 4th gold medal for Jamaica. There could be a 5th in the offing, and it's an amazing turn of fortunes for the island when you think that in the previous editions of the World Championship since 1983, they've won a total of 7. They could be on for 5 in this championships alone. So, is everybody ready? It's time to take out your imaginary arrow from your imaginary quiver and stick it in your imaginary bow. Gentlemen and ladies, it's time for Bolt, Usain Bolt.
Usain Bolt streaking away from the field. It's going to be gold for Jamaica. That is superb. It's a new world record. He has blown them all away. Blasting round that top bend, Usain Bolt. What's the time? It's gold for Usain Bolt and a new world record. I do not believe it. Absolutely brilliant. Usain Bolt has it in his hand safely and is away around that top bend. Look at this. 3 gold medals. 3 world records. The Bolt is loaded. It's Bolt all the way. He's looking round at Gay. What's the clock? It's gold for Bolt. The world belongs to Bolt. 9.58. Stunning. Absolutely stunning.
Well, that is the big question, and Wallace Spearman, one of the chief challengers, he's having a bit of fun with him. It was Wallace who said he reckoned that someone's going to try and dethrone Bolt here tonight. I'm not sure that our panel of experts would agree with that. Can anybody do any damage to his chances tonight this evening?
No, they can't. I mean, he's just a completely different athlete on a whole nother plane. We've never seen an athlete like him. There's no athlete out there that can compete with him. It's just not possible.
And Colin, here we go. Your money's clearly on Bolt. Will he break the world record? That's the point.
I think you will miss it. I don't think you'll do that. I think you'll just run quick.
Right, we're looking forward to it. Steve Cramp, it's all yours.
Thank you, Hazel. We've seen Goliath, the youngster on the inside, 19-year-old from Azerbaijan, and then David Aled from France, who will be in lane 2. This is Steve Mullings, another Jamaican athlete. He's found himself in the final. What a championships they're having. Well, we've got 3 Americans in this final. No Tyson Gay, of course, decided not to contest it, which is a real shame. Wallace Spearman took a silver in these championships in 2005. Bronze last time in Osaka. Well, it's time to reload now, isn't it? What does he have in store for us tonight? It's his birthday tomorrow. I wonder if we are all to receive an early present from him. It's not that long ago, just 2 years ago at the World Championships, he took a silver medal behind Tyson Gay. And how could he and the rest of us possibly have foreseen what was to happen after that? Now this youngster, Alonzo Edward, well, they've gone past him pretty quickly. I don't think you should dismiss him that easily. He's just 19 years of age and has got a great chance of taking a medal here. Charles Clark of the USA outside him was 2nd in the American Championships. And then on the outside, he'll be a bit disappointed with that. Perhaps Sean Crawford, Olympic champion in Athens, and eventually awarded the silver medal last year after Chirandi Martino was disqualified for running out of his lane. Packed crowds in here tonight. Yes, at that end of the stadium, they're watching the high jump, but they're getting a bird's eye view of the most famous man in athletics, perhaps one of the most famous men on the planet. The 200-meter final, it was a world record in Beijing. Michael Johnson broke world record in the Olympic Games in 1996. Tommy Smith did it back in 1968 as well at the Olympic Games. Not yet at the World Championships. Is he too tired? Oh. Well, we got a very good view there, didn't we, of a little twitch from Usain Bolt. We weren't on a wider shot to know if it was anybody else, but he definitely twitched in the blocks. Now, we saw that, I think, in the semi-final of the 100 metres when he had a false start, or maybe it was the early rounds. Let's just watch. No, it was actually lane 2, but he definitely twitched himself as well. Although he hasn't been given the false start, it has been awarded to David Alert from France. There's the full list for you. Goliath of Azerbaijan on the inside. 2 19-year-olds in this race. He's one of them. Alert of France, the false starter, in 2. Mullings, Jamaica, 3. Spearman in 4. The main man in 5, Usain Bolt. Edward of Panama in 6. Clark, United States, in 7. And Crawford of the United States in lane 8. Well, we've seen the serious face a little bit more often during these championships, but this is the Usain Bolt we know. Relaxed. Just a little lick of the lips, perhaps a little bit of a dry mouth.
On your mark.
One false start against the field. Anybody else false starts now, and they are disqualified. The 200-meter final.
Set.
Away cleanly. Bolt has got a very good start indeed. Flies past Alonso Edward on the outside of him. Has had an excellent bend. Sean Crawford going well out in lane 8 as well. But it's all about Usain Bolt. 2 meters clear, 3 meters clear, 5 meters clear, and away he goes. He continues on his way towards another gold medal. Watch the clock this time. I can't believe it. A fantastic 5. 5 gold medals, 5 world records. There are no limits, I said before. I was wrong. I was very, very, very wrong. 19.2, you've got to be kidding me. He's meant to be tired. I think he was setting us up to you. There were suggestions he was too tired, that maybe perhaps there wasn't too much left in the tank. They have witnessed something very special, as we all have once more. What do you say, Paul?
I think I say that I've never seen anything like this before, and I'm never likely to again. Unless, of course, Usain Bolt just keeps on going and going at World Championships and Olympic Games and keeps on breaking world records. 4 individual finals over the last couple of years in Beijing and here in Berlin. 4 world records, 4 gold medals. Wow. Well, just to clear up who else did what, Alonso Edward there you saw celebrating 19.81. That was a new South American record. And Wallace Spearman, well, it's almost superfluous, isn't it? A season's best at 19.85. Sean Crawford, the former Olympic champion, 19.89. And Steve Mullins, who ran a brilliant bend but faded in the home straight, 19.98. Well, he's taken a big chunk off the time he set in Beijing, and on that occasion he ran 9.96 and 9.34 as the 100-meter splits. Goodness only knows what he's done this time. And who was it in our studio who said they thought he might not break the world record? To coin a phrase, a yield of little faith. Alonso Edward, though, what a fantastic talent he is. Oh, 19 years old. Well, Usain Bolt himself was a precocious talent as a teenager. We thought the 100 meters was sensational, but that 200-meter time 19.19. Just let it soak in.
Well, I think anywhere else in the world, nobody would be interested in this high jump competition. But here in Berlin, Ariane Friedrich is the darling of this crowd. Chicharova of Russia already clear. And that certainly lays a challenge down to Friedrich, also to Vlasic. Got Di Martino still in. And Ruth Bethier. So Friedrich, first attempt, 2 meters and 2. Oof, tell you what. Not good, not good. She's going to have to go higher than that if she's going to win the gold medal.
This is history. And prior to this, you know, Jamaica had only ever won 6 World Championship gold medals since the championship started in 1983. They've won 5 here in Berlin already. And there's the promise of more over the next 3 days. This is one of the first times I've ever seen Usain Bolt really go for it. And as Steve Cram said in commentary, he just kept on going away. What do you think about that, Michael?
Unbelievable. I mean, this is a ridiculous race. I mean, his start, we've been talking about his start was so good, but I mean, this bend is unbelievable. No one has ever run a bend like this ever, and probably never ever will. Unbelievable. Look at the gap he has on these other athletes. They're all running 19 seconds as well. That's how great Usain Bolt is. This is unbelievable. And he did run it hard. He ran hard from the very beginning. He came out of the blocks and was trying as hard as he possibly could from the very beginning. Look at the start, up on Wallace Spearman now. 15 meters into the race, he's already up on him. He's already made up the stagger on all of the athletes at this point. This is just the most incredible bend ever. And at this point, just going for it, giving it everything that he possibly can. Usain Bolt doesn't run with technique. He doesn't care about technique. You look at him rocking back and forth, the shoulders all over the place, because he can afford to do that, because he gets so much more. There's his dad, his family, all of the other Jamaican supporting. He's already got the big smile on his face because he knows he's running faster than he's ever run before. Looking for the time, knowing it's a world record. Unbelievable. Great race from Bolt. That's just unbelievable to see.
Well, there he goes. He's been just unbelievable. You know, it's hard to really keep putting it into words because what he's doing and putting into some sort of context. I guess the best way is you look on the paper and you look at the result, because nobody's ever done this. No one's ever come 5th in a final and run under 20 seconds. That happened to Steve Mullings. Sean Crawford ran a great bend, season's best, 19.89. The bronze medal for Wallace Spearman, another bronze, the same as last time, with the season's best, 1985. The young 19-year-old from Panama, he'll get better, 19.81, a new national record. Top of the list, top of the pile, the best ever. Usain Bolt of Jamaica, world champion, a new world record, 19.19, into a slight headwind.
So Blanka Vlasic now, real opportunity. If she can go clear, first attempt at 2:02. She really puts one over on Friedrich. So close. So close.
Well, interestingly, all eyes have been on this athlete, Friedrich, and of course Blanka Vlasic, but it's Anna Chicharova who's stolen a march. I wonder if she can break the hearts of both the German and the Croatian. The crowd almost still recovering from the exploits of Usain Bolt. But here goes Ariane Friedrich. No, that was a desperate attempt. Lying second equal with Blanka Vlasic at the moment. Usain Bolt, I've been thinking of something to say, and the best line I can give is Usain Bolt born to run fast. Sensational.
Okay, who said that he wouldn't break the world record? Hands up.
Do you know what? Look at me, I'm in the States.
I said anytime he's on the track, it's possible.
It is.
And then I said I didn't think he would.
Now, let's put this in some kind of context for you, because you're probably as stunned as we are here. He's now taken over a 1/10 of a second off both world records in the 100 metres and the 200 metres. Michael, that's about 2 metres faster, quicker than he's been before. It's extraordinary. The actual distance, when you put it into that sort of context.
Yeah, and I mean, the Olympics last year, and I said earlier, I said, you know, I don't know that he'll have the opportunity that he had last year, where it was the Olympic Games, it was his first opportunity to be a champion, it was his first Olympic Games, and so and it's the Olympics, and there's so much adrenaline that helped him, and I felt he'll never have a first opportunity like that again, so I don't know if he'll ever run that fast again. In the 200, we knew he would run faster in the 100. But he's come in here, and as you just said, and taken a 1/10 off. We knew he would do it in the 100 meters, and I think there's still more there. And now in the 200 meters, which isn't shocking given what he's capable of doing, because I think he's capable of running under 19 seconds, as crazy as that sounds. But when you run a bend like this against the best in the world, I mean, and against other guys running 19 seconds, and he was tired, and he's still tired, and I don't think that he was playing around with us. I think he is tired. I think he was legitimately fatigued. I think he's legitimately fatigued right here, because he starts to slow down a little bit at the end of this, and he can't sustain this kind of speed. I mean, that's because he said, my training hasn't been as good this year as it was last year. Imagine when it is. He's going to continue to run faster and faster.
But you put this in context as well, considering, Colin, that he actually had an accident, a car accident. He had an injured foot, a minor operation to him. But it did hamper his training running bends. So he's not been as potent a force in this season leading up to this event.
Yeah, he actually haven't run as many 200s as normal. So for him to come out and produce this is just phenomenal.
It is indeed. Well, we're going to try and catch our breath and try and put this into context for you. But the women's high jump really is approaching climax time as well. Let's get back to that now live.
It's now the second attempt for Blanka Vlasic. She's seen Friedrich knock it off. Oh, she's got it. That is really good. But at the moment, it's only good enough for second place. The leader, I never thought I'd hear myself say that, Anna Chicharova, first time clearance 2:02. Wow, what a moment for Ariane Friedrich. I'm sure she thought about this competition, well, since she found out that Berlin had the World Championships in 2009. I'm not sure she would have thought she'd be standing here with 2 failures at 2:02. She's never been under pressure like this before, Paul.
This was certainly not a moment the German public anticipated. There's been talk of world record attempts, talk of gold medals, but already 2 athletes are ahead of her. She's got to get this to stay in the competition. And the stadium, it's gone silent.
Oh, yes! That was incredible. The whole stadium silent. One woman running on a curve. She cleared the bar, the place erupted. Oh, that was fantastic. That really was. 2 really poor attempts at 2:02. The hopes and dreams for him too. Oh, absolutely wonderful. Oh, I bet she can't believe it. Well, this was the first time clearance at 2:02 of Anna Chicharova. Despite all the dramatic events of the last few moments, she is the leader. One of the other 2 will have to clear 2 meters and 4. And this really was a super clearance, just given a knock. It's the season's best. And this is very much game on now in this women's high jump. It is really living up to all the hype. What a wonderful few moments of track and field we've had.
Will Sharman, as if we hadn't had enough excitement already tonight, goes in the 110 meters hurdles final. That's coming up in about 5 minutes. Well, what a night, goodness me. I've never been in a stadium where it's gone so utterly and completely silent, and then the huge crescendo of noise as Friedrich cleared that height. The last 10 minutes in here have been some of the most exciting moments in athletics I've ever witnessed. A brilliant night. I'm trying to think of, we've had, Magic Monday and Super Sunday, and what do you do for Thursday, lads? Any suggestions?
I'm sure a lot of people have got our email address.
Thrilling, that's good.
And
Thrilling,
of course there's the promise of yet another gold medal, and who knows, even another world record for the Jamaicans by the time we get to the sprint relay.
We could go tumultuous Thursday. Not really, is it? It needs a third.
Well, the man of the moment for the time being, I say time being, he is the big star. Usain Bolt is with Phil. There he is.
Well, Usain, congratulations yet again. You said that your best was good enough to win a gold, but to get a world record like that, did you ever expect that tonight?
Well, tonight I can definitely say I didn't expect it, because I was a little bit tired. Coming in when I was in my warm-up, I felt good, so I said, what heck, let's try, because people are really looking out for this. So I said it won't hurt to try, so I just went out there and ran hard, and now I'm really tired.
Well, if this is you tired, imagine what you can do when you're refreshed.
I'm telling you, maybe next time I should just run the 200 or just the 100 alone. You can see the picture. I was trying, I was dying, my palm was kind of going backwards. I wasn't running upright, so it wasn't a good race, I can say, but it was a fast one.
Earlier in our show, we heard from your mum and your dad and your brother. They're all here tonight. What does it mean to have your family here and their support?
It's always great to have support from your family, so I felt great, and it was just wonderful having them here.
Congratulations yet again, and happy birthday for tomorrow.
All right, thanks.
Happy birthday indeed. Okay, well, the excitement doesn't stop there. We've got another final, the men's 110 hurdles. Now that young man there could well be a contender, is a contender undoubtedly. In Britain, has had a good night. Emily Freeman, in case you missed it, got through to the 200 meter final. That'll be tomorrow, the women's 200 meter final obviously. And earlier tonight, Will Sharman ran fantastically to make it through here. That was Jiwai of China on the inside in lane 1. Dwight Thomas came through as the fastest loser. Didn't look too good in the semi-final, although he had perhaps the more difficult one. Didn't start very well. He'll have to be better than that if he's to figure here. He's in 2. Well, the Americans are taking a bit of a hammering at the hands of the Jamaicans. Maybe not in this event, though. David Payne of the USA, Olympic silver medalist, bronze medalist last time in Osaka. 13.12 this year. Joint fastest in the field. No Robles, of course, the world record holder, went out with injury. This is young Ryan Braithwaite from Barbados. Has got quicker and quicker at these championships. He's set his 4th national record of the year in the semi-final. Terence Trammell has gone wandering down the track. And he may well be wondering as well if this is his moment. He's had silver medals on 2 occasions at the Olympics, twice at the World Championships, never the gold. And what about William Sharman of Great Britain? Well, he only got selected at the very last moment, went off to Loughborough after the selectors had announced the team on the Tuesday night, ran a 13:44 personal best. Got himself into the team because of that. He ran a personal best to make it through to this final. Wonderful moment for him. Peter Svoboda of Czech Republic will be in lane 7. And then another Jamaican on the outside, the more experienced Maurice Wignall, Commonwealth Games champion. So all 8 men know that this is now about executing the best race, perhaps of your life, certainly of the year. Everyone capable perhaps of getting in the mix. G on the inside, Thomas, then Payne, then Braithwaite, then Trammell. Sharman's in lane 6, Svoboda in 7, and Wignall in lane 8. Well, of course, Colin Jackson, Tony Jarrett have given us great history in this event in the World Championships. The Americans have won 16 of the 33 medals so far contested at the World Championships in the 110 hurdles. It's their event almost. Can Trammell add to that history?
Set.
They get away first time. Sharman gets a very good start next to Trammell, but Trammell leading this. Payne going well also, and in between them is Braithwaite. These three starting to pull away. Sharman in about 5th place at the moment. Trammell is just about going to get there, but can Braithwaite do it on the lean? Whoa, whoa, whoa! That was tight. All three men in it. Did Trammell get it on the lean? That was too close to call. Way too close to call. Braithwaite's looking up at the screen. They all are. The crowd have taken a sharp intake of breath. They're not sure. None of us are sure.
Oh, my goodness gracious me, Steve. What do you reckon from that?
Well, I don't know. None of us can know. That is really difficult. I don't think it's Payne. I think it could be Braithwaite or Trammell. I'm going to say perhaps Braithwaite. It is. It's Braithwaite. Has just come up.
Over first attempt at 2 meters and 4. No, just 3 athletes left in her, Friedrich and Vlasic. Well, this high jump competition really living up to its billing. After what we saw from Usain Bolt, it would have been easy for this to go flat, but these athletes have responded.
Well, let's just look back at that blanket finish in the 110-meter hurdles, and also a word about William Sharman, a former promising decathlete, and all of a sudden he's the 6th fastest hurdler in British history. But take a look at the finish. Payne on the far side, Braithwaite and Trammell. The big lean. Ryan Braithwaite is the champion just.
Wow. What a moment that was when she cleared 2:02 in complete silence at her 3rd attempt. I wonder. Well, here we go again. Absolute dead quiet. First attempt at 2 meters and 4 centimeters. She's going to win. She has to clear this height. Vlasic watches on. This really is her moment, isn't it? It wasn't to be. It wasn't to be. She'll have 2 more attempts at that. It'll be Vlasic next. She'll be relieved. And I think, Paul, part of the reason that she wants silence is that she was getting her rhythm all messed up by that noise in the stadium.
Well, having said that, though, the stadium is going absolutely silent when she does jump, but you get the impression that she may consider passing her remaining attempts at 2:04 and then going for, what is the next height, 2:06, because that looks as though it could be the only way she could get the gold medal now. She's down in 3rd place. Blanka Vlasic, of course, 2 attempts to get 2:02. So if she can get this at the first attempt, of course, the Croatian will go top of the table.
I think, Paul, you're right, and especially if Vlasic gets this first time, then I think we perhaps will see Friedrich pass and move on to 2:06. That's a height she cleared here in this stadium in the Golden League meeting earlier on this season. Vlasic, first attempt, 2 meters and 4. Well, that wasn't good at all, completely mistimed that.
There's the photo finish. Braithwaite has been confirmed as the champion. Trammell takes a silver once more, and Sharman a wonderful 4th place in the world final. He's with Phil.
Well, I think that now puts you 5th on the UK all-time list, 4th in the world.
Really? Fantastic.
Yeah. I mean, a truly stunning performance.
Well, I'm lost for words, really. The gun went bang. And all I did, I just thought, just push, whatever happens, I just ran. Stumbled, I think, somewhere at the beginning. I'd like to see the replay. I stumbled, but nevertheless, I did what I did in the previous round, and that kept me in contention halfway down. I could feel the American on the inside of me, and I thought, okay, this must be quick. Last third of the race, the hurdles, I couldn't even see them. I was just hurdling blind, and I was clipping them, but not knocking them, I don't think. So, 4th in the World Championships. I can't say I'm disappointed, even though it's the most unlucky position to finish in. But at the end of the day, the 3 athletes that finished ahead of me, all of them are, well, Ryan Braithwaite's new, but the other 2 are my idols. So really pleased to be in contention there.
And what can you do from here, do you think? Now you've had this experience, 4th in the world, and you know, it was a real struggle. I know you don't want to get into it, but just to make the team at all, and now here you are, the 4th best hurdler. And the Europeans coming up next year, of course.
Who knows what's next? I'm 24, so by the time London 2012 comes round, I should be in my prime. And if I'm at the 2012 games like I expect to be, I'll be pushing for the gold medal, because I hope to be peaking by then. But the next point of call really is to get home, give my little son a cuddle and his mum a big kiss, and thank all the people that helped me get here. They all know who they are. I've mentioned them in the previous interviews. But funnily enough, Phil, inspired me to get into the final. I'll tell you, in the call room at the semi-final, it's a 7-minute walk from the warm-up track to the call room. And I'm an athlete. I don't do anything more than 20 seconds at a time being a sprinter. So that is a long walk. And they said in the call room, all athletes making the final are allowed to get the shuttle bus back to the training track. So I thought, I'm going to be on that bus.
That's incentive indeed. Well, it's been a magical night, and you're a part of it. Well done.
Thank you very much. Much love to everyone in Great Britain and the stadium here, all you supporters that have followed us out. Thank you.
Cheers, mate. He's a very cool customer. Certainly gets first prize for making speeches. Well done, Phil. But Sharman, absolutely superb, Colin, tonight, wasn't he?
Oh, he was truly amazing. You know what we said about how important it is to get to that first hurdle and get the rhythm going quite early. And all through these championships, Williams had great rhythm and great timing. So it doesn't surprise me really that he comes out of this final here now with a brand new personal best yet again of 13.30 seconds, which actually elevates him to 4th on the UK all-time list. That is just a really wonderful performance.
There's the result of the 110-metre hurdles final. A new national record and the first ever medal at the World Championships for Barbados. If that doesn't get them off the beaches this afternoon, I don't know what will. Ryan Braithwaite, 13.14, silver medal again, his 5th major championship silver medal. Terence Trammell of the USA just ahead of his teammate David Payne of 13.15, and a PB for Will Sharman, 13.3.
Party in Barbados, party in Jamaica, party all over the Caribbean. Absolutely fantastic night for the Caribbean nations, and a great night for Will Sharman. Did he say hello to everybody, or just everybody who knew him?
All I was thinking is, if Gordon Brown needs someone to galvanise the country, Roland Sharman is your man. He is outrageously funny, brilliant hurdler. What a performance tonight. I mean, it's amazing.
Great to see him in that final, and great to see him in the 4th place. I'm sure things will get better for him. Now, we've got to talk about Usain Bolt. If he were to retire tomorrow, Michael, how long would those records that he's just posted last?
You never know. I mean, it's difficult even for me to say how long a world record will stand. You never know. But his world records are out there. At this point, certainly we can say there's no one competing right now that can break those records. And I would probably go so far as to say the person that will break them hadn't been born yet.
Well, he is just about to take another lap of honour, but Blanka Vlasic in the high jump, you'll hear the incredible atmosphere here because the high jump final is just reaching its climax. Just find out what's going on.
That's Blanka Vlasic's second attempt at 2 metres and 4. Friedrich failed. Vlasic, this would put her in gold medal position. Oh yes, she's got it, absolutely. Friedrich in the lead, even Vlasic in the lead. Friedrich will have to respond. She's going to pass to the next height. It really is game on.
Everybody's doing the dancing, and you can continue to watch them on the red button. We've got to come off air here on BBC Two, but please hit red now for the conclusion of that women's high jump final. It's getting very tight and very tasty indeed. And of course, there's no morning session here tomorrow. We're saving all the good stuff for the evening when we'll return at 6 with, amongst other things, the women's 200 final and the long-awaited showdown over 400 metres between the Olympic champions, Sean Merritt, and the defending world champion, Jeremy Warner. And that's it from us. In fact, that's it from Denise, because you're off on a well-earned holiday. You've seen some fantastic stuff. Thank you very much for your contributions over the last few days, Denise. And thanks to you boys. We've witnessed history once again. We didn't think it was possible, but Bolt is quicker than ever, once again.